Hello there, hello there, hello there, my delicious Twitcherinos and YouTuberinos. How the devil are we all? I'm a lot better actually. Thank you for asking. Um. Oh, what the fuck? Go away. Anyway, thank you to who was it? Argonian Bomb for raiding in with 21 people. Much love to you. I can't say that I'm familiar with your work, Argonian. But much love to you. It could be that I already follow you. I don't know. I follow a million fucking people. Let's have a look. Do I? I don't. Oh, that's outrageous. Okay, well, that's.
I'm a fan of Americans.
Shut up, Lance. Thank you. Yeah. Come on, we can get Argonian Bomb up to 1,000. There are 994 followers. We can get them up to 4 figures. Let's go. Come on, people. Go over there and give them a follow. They've got Lance on the suggested channels bit, so like they're probably pretty fucking badass.
Get some help.
You know. So yeah, go and do that. Hello there also to Javi in the YouTube chats. Go and follow Canedo Descardas. And I apologise for pronouncing that a million times wrong. But, you know, I also won't stop doing that. Because even if it's in English, I will mispronounce it. So if it's in foreign, I've definitely got no fucking chance. Anyway, much love. Everyone go and follow Have, who is good people. Anyway. Yes, so we'll get...
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Victory is ours.
Thank you, Polbol799. Much love, much love. Yes, I thought I'd do a little JD Vance meme retrospective. I don't know. Basically, I want to get to the stage where no one can actually recognise what JD Vance actually looks like. I don't want people to like be able to walk past him in the street and not have a fucking clue, because it's just, you think of him as this kind of grotesquely bloated mutant creature, you know. Oh, you moved back to Norway, have you? Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, my Spanish friend in Norway. Not two nations you naturally put together, but you know, it's a beautiful thing. Anyway, yes. Right. Okay, so I will also be being distracted a little bit. For those who don't know, one of the curses of my existence is to be a fan of Birmingham City Football Club, and they are in fact playing this evening. They are away from home, hence why I'm here. They're away at Bolton Wanderers, which is not how that's pronounced either. Just saying. But yeah, so I'm watching that and sort of doing a bit of streaming or something. I don't know. So yeah, that's happening. Get used to it. So in terms of why I wasn't here yesterday, okay. For those, I don't want to go too much into the details, but like for those who were unaware, I was in part of a motor vehicle accident. I was very much the victim in this. But thankfully I'm fine now. My neck's a lot better, but my nerves were on edge. And my father, being the delightful creature that he is, and knows me better than I know myself, clearly, said, you need to get back on the horse, right? Because the vehicle's fucking wrecked, so like, you know, I'm without car. And by the way, if you want to contribute to the car fund, I'll be doing a shilling in just a second as to how you can financially help me. In just a second. Anyway, so I don't have a car at the moment, and he knew that it would be getting on my mind. He knew psychologically getting back into a car would be like a really terrible fucking thing. And that the longer I left it, the more my terrible, awful fucking mind would work. And so he was like, no, come and drive my car. He said, we'll just go for a ride. We'll just go for a quick ride in the car. And I was like, well, how's that going to help me? And he went, no, you're driving, you prick. Right? It's an act of love, honest to God. He's amazing. Anyway, and so we did. I got into his car and we drove. And we just went around the Wrekin, really. Not literally, because that is a real place. But we just went around a few local roads onto the dual carriageway up to the island and back. Right? A trip of about 3 or 4 miles. And honestly, I was fucking shitting myself. He was right. The longer I'd left it, the more het up, the more like tense and anxious I was getting about ever driving a car ever again. Because of the sort of trauma of it, I guess. And I felt so much better afterwards, but I was so tired, like emotionally and physically wrecked by the experience, that I came home and I just needed to lie down in a dark room. And then he rang me up today and was like, we're doing that again today, by the way. And I was like, what? And he said, we're doing it again. He said, we're just going to do it again and again. And it'd be like, oh, cod bag. Didn't need that. Why does it do? I don't know why it gets me sometimes and it doesn't get me other times. Oh, fucking hell. Anyway. So yeah, we went out for a drive and we drove a little bit further this time. We went out onto the little bit of motorway that's not desperately far from his house. And again, I was sort of shitting myself a little bit. But it was fine. And I feel a lot better for having done that. And so we're gonna do that. We're gonna carry on. Which is nice. So yeah, it's difficult for me, but I've been getting through it. And that's important, you know. Anyway, if you wanted to help with the thing, because I need to obviously get my own car at some point. I say at some point, look, they're not even that expensive. You can get an old nail for fuck all, really. Yes, you can hit the follow button. You can subscribe. You can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can give subs to the community. You can, what else can you do? You can subscribe yourself. You can become a member over on YouTube. You can do super chats. By the Streamlabs link below, or indeed super chats just regularly over on YouTube. $2 or more, they'll get you a text to speech. 200 bits or more will get you a text to speech. At this rate, Kev, you'll be racing in Formula 1 by the end of the season. I highly suspect not. I've never been one for wanting to go fast in cars, particularly. Look, I can. Like, if I'm on the motorway or whatever, you go in the fast lane, that's not a problem. But the idea of racing cars at like 120 miles an hour, why are you doing that? That's a profoundly idiotic thing to do. And unnecessary. You're just going round and round. It's very silly. Says a man who gets emotionally upset about the result of football matches. Anyway. You can get a Tesla for £5 in about a month. Yeah, exactly. The Cybertruck's going to be going for £2.83. Or highly ironic. Yes! Go on, lads. Sorry. You might be able to guess what just happened in the game. Yes, I can imagine Elon Musk selling the Cybertruck for $14.88. but he's not an artsy. It's just a meme, bro. Cunt. Anyway. So, yeah, you can help me out in those ways. Thank you, Baron von Coxlap, with, I hope this helps with your nerves. Scared the shit out of me, mate. But, you know, I'm good. I'm good. So, anyway. Roman priced. That is pretty good. So yeah, like I say, you can help me in those ways if you wanted to. I've got a Patreon and PayPal if you wanted to be more direct with a donation. That's very much possible and would be very much appreciated. Again, the car fund is open. Very open. I've got a Discord, YouTube, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. Hello there, YouTubes. You can become a member on YouTube for 99p. You can give memberships to the community. You can do super chatty chats, which I will read out, especially if they're grossly offensive. Yes. Now, I was going to cover Hassan being banned from Twitch, but he was already unbanned before I even started. So I just thought, fuck it, I can't be bothered. So we'll just do the thing I was going to do anyway. So, we're talking about Ukraine and stuff like that today. We'll sort of get into more of the Trumpy stuff as we go along, because it sort of crops up. But we're going to watch, at first, we're going to watch yesterday's Ukraine statement from the House of Commons, from the Houses of Parliament here in the UK. Because I think it is important. We hosted this international leaders summit, minus the USA, because it is a pariah now. It's just an international pariah, axis of evil, such and such, right? A rogue state, dare I say. So loads of the European leaders were there in London for talks about, what the fuck do they do now that, now that America are pulling funding and all the rest of it. Although that hadn't technically happened yet, but they were pulling their support, and it was becoming a very dodgy situation. So loads of the European leaders were there. Obviously, our own head of government, Sir Keir Starmer, one of the most pathetic, spineless gimp lords who's ever existed, who the media have been trying to fluff up as the new Winston Churchill. Except, of course, he's not even interesting enough to have genocided 4 million Indians. So, he's not even Churchill. But there we go. And Justin Trudeau was there. He chose not to do blackface this time, which was a strong choice, I think, from him. You can never be entirely sure. The chances of him turning up in blackface are small, but never zero. And he chose to not do that on this occasion. I think that was the right one. I think we can all say we uncritical support for Justin Trudeau in that particular decision. So that happened, and then Keir Starmer gives a statement to the Commons, which is an opportunity for the political leaders to do their thing. And I thought it was interesting because I want to sort of introduce you to a concept that I've been reading about not that long ago, called hypernormalization. Hypernormalization was a sort of phenomena first described towards the end of the Soviet Union, right? So in the sort of 70s and 80s, it was obvious to everyone outside of the Soviet Union that the Soviet system was crumbling. Both economically, socially, in terms of its politics, it was a bad situation, right? And to most of the people inside of the Soviet Union, they could tell that it was fucked. But they couldn't see an alternative. The kind of status quo warriors exist in all societies, basically, and they are often people who get to the top of their political and economic ladder. And this basically happened in the Soviet Union as well, where they couldn't see an alternative to the crumbling, shitty system that they had. And so they essentially, it was almost like a collective burying your head in the sand type situation, where you just pretended like this was normal. Like the fact that, things like Chernobyl were, not necessarily everyday occurrences, but, the Soviet system was broken, fundamentally. Not to say that communism is inherently the bad system, it's just that particular way of doing governance was just fucking wrong. It was broken. And so the concept of hypernormalization is this dissonance between the reality you see and the fake version of reality that you're being presented, right? So, in the Soviet Union, you'd be told, you'd see a society that was crumbling around yourself. None of the systems really worked. None of the infrastructure worked. The economy was stagnant to the point of, free fall at times. People were going hungry. Everything, the infrastructure of it, things like Chernobyl were happening, and yet the leadership was still telling you, we're working towards the great, proletarian state. We're going to achieve communism. We're on the road to socialism, etc., etc. And so that feeling of dissonance between reality and unreality that you're being presented was called hypernormalization. And I think we're starting to see quite a lot of that in the modern world, in the West as well. Not only, I think we've talked about this ongoing, that the economics of neoliberalism, I think, is starting to have a similar feel to it, where we see that it isn't working. We know that it isn't working. You can tell from the way in which people vote in elections that it isn't fucking working. And yet, the reality we're being told about is that it's growth, that we're growing, that it's fine, that everything's wonderful and normal. And whilst that, I want you to put that sort of thing to the back burner, because this isn't necessarily just economics. When it comes to foreign policy, I think we're starting to see a real shift into hypernormalization. I talked about how that bust-up between Zelensky and Trump in the Oval Office was the end of the Atlanticist dream. And it basically is. Okay? It's the end of the Atlanticist dream. There is no longer the axis of Britain and America and the kind of NATO world. That the world that brought NATO into being doesn't exist anymore. Fundamentally, that dynamic isn't in play. It was swept away. Now, it's been crumbling and dodgy for a while. The Trump-Zelensky Vance argument, whatever you want to call it, was merely the kind of final death knell. The bolt gun of mercy to the back of the cranium of the broken-legged horse of NATO, if you'll allow me a very tortured analogy. Yeah, that world doesn't exist anymore. And I think most people who are keen observers will be aware of that. And yet, what the Atlanticists seem to want to do is present as if that's still possible. And we're starting to see the real cracks appear very, very quickly. What we'll see from Keir Starmer is him pretending that America is still on the side of Ukraine and that the old NATO Western hegemony alliance thing is still in play, as if that's a real concept in the last few days, which it isn't. It's dead. It's gone.
Oiled like a baby otter.
It is also oiled like a baby otter, undoubtedly. Anyway, so I want you to keep that concept of hypernormalization in mind when we hear from the likes of Keir Starmer about how America is still very much our ally and on our side. Yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake. Fucking, there we go. Right.
We now come to the statement on Ukraine. I call the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Less than a week since I called on this House to show the courage of our predecessors, we see clearly before us the test of our times, a crossroads in our history. So with permission, Mr. Speaker, I'll update the House on my efforts to secure a strong, just and lasting peace following Russia's vile invasion of Ukraine. Mr. Speaker, it begins in this House, where on Tuesday I announced the biggest sustained increase in defence spending since the Cold War.
And all we had to do was make ourselves more of an international pariah by cutting the International Development Fund. Yay! Fucking idiots. Honest to God. We're not going to do austerity, honest.
A recognition of the fact that once again we live in an era where peace in Europe depends upon strength and deterrence.
Anymore.
Oh.
But also a rediscovery.
Fucking Jesus Christ. Oh. I am going to have to change it. I keep telling myself I don't have to, but I do. I know I do. Thank you, Kreia Van Breur, for following. Welcome to the Kevolution. And thank you, G Ferry, for the Cybertruck Fund. Fuck yeah. Because the one thing I want is that if I do get into a car crash, I want my car to explode. So, I wanted to do a super chat. YouTube won't let me. I mean, I could say just try again, but there's also PayPal or whatever if you really wanted to give me money directly. But ultimately, if you end up that you can't, it's not the end of the world. But I would appreciate that. Thank you, Niall. Birmingham City is still... Oh, you cunts! I shouldn't have tried. I was about to give you an update on the score and they've just equalised. Bastards. Fucking kill me.
Of the old post-war argument, long held on these benches, that economic security is national security. Yeah. Because, Mr. Speaker, the demands we now have to make of Britain must come alongside a new foundation of security for working people. The tough choices that we made last week, they are not done. We must use the process of getting to 3% of our national income spent on defence to fundamentally rebuild British industry.
What the fuck are you talking about? It's going to go to like fucking Raytheon and shit. They don't fucking build things here.
Get the fuck, they came not play me all these mutants.
Much love, Mad Cat. Everyone go and follow Mad Cat Scotty Eye, who's awesome. Yeah, it's not going to rebuild British industry. They don't fucking build things here. Do you think Boeing are going to build shit here? Oh! Thank you. Let me have a look. Hang on. I'll get there. Fuck me, the noises.
Lord Freeters donated $10. Believe it or not, goblins signed my lessee paycheck. Shimmy shimmy yum simmy despunkify. Mock the Italians, they know what they did.
What the fuck are you talking about? What did the Italians do? I mean, they elected a fascist as Prime Minister, so that's not cool, but you know. But other than that, thank you, Niall, who says, to tell you about the Adam Curtis doc on Pariah called Hypernormalization. Well, presumably he would explain in much better, more pithy detail about... pithy detail? Anyway, about the thing I just explained. Oh, but I will look that up. Thank you, Niall. Much love. Anyway, where were we?
Use our investment in military spending to create new jobs and apprenticeships in every part of the country. Yeah. And that's why last night I announced a deal that perfectly symbolises the new era.
Also, he's getting up to 3% blah 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 of spending on military to suck Trump's dick. That's the only reason that's happening, is to suck Trump's dick. So the very person who's causing all of these problems is the very person he's sucking the dick of by increasing spending on defence. It's fucking embarrassing. I was watching today Justin Trudeau doing the thing you would expect him to do, being like, oh, the tariffs are dumb. Fuck Trump. He didn't quite say that, but you get the idea. He did say that the tariffs were dumb, though, which is, you know, diplomatically spicy words. And he used the phrase, Canada being America's closest ally. Now, geographically, that is technically joint true with Mexico, of course, because they are 0 miles from America. But in terms of being being America's closest ally, we are the biggest cock. Okay, don't even pretend, Canada, that you're not the biggest cock. Keir Starmer went over there and rimmed his arsehole raw. Okay, he licked his arse like a fucking cat cleans its own. That is a stiff dick of poop. It was quite literally a stiff dick of poop. You're absolutely correct. He went over there. He literally handed him a letter. Oh, I've got a letter from the king. Like it was the most pathetic, embarrassing shit I've ever seen in my life. Don't even try and pretend to be the biggest cock, Canada, because this man is. Keir Starmer is the biggest. He wants you to fuck his wife and his mum at the same time. That's how bad he is. Actually, his mum might be dead. He'd still want you to fuck him. He would still let Donald Trump fuck the corpse of his mother. That is what I am suggesting. Yes. Unbelievable. Thank you, Lord Freetus, for gifting us up to Sean again. A beautiful letter from King Charles, which he couldn't fucking read. Madcat, as Argonian Bomb was the person who raided in, you could give them a sub if you wanted to. That's an option. But again, only if you're feeling flush. You don't need to. You do more than enough by watching every day, which I appreciate enormously.
Partnership with Ukraine that allows them to use £1.6 billion of UK export finance to buy 5,000 air defence missiles manufactured in Belfast. Mr. Speaker, that
Oh, so a bit of the country that shouldn't even be part of the country. Awesome.
means UK jobs, UK skills, UK finance.
Do you remember when Belfast used to create good things like the Titanic? Don't even get me started, okay? The Titanic was good. When it left Belfast, it was in perfect working order. The fact that some dozy cunt decided to drive it into a fucking iceberg, it was fine the last time they saw it. Okay? It used to create good things, Belfast. Now it creates sectarian violence and fucking weapons of death. Fuck. Also, if we're going to blame the Titanic, if we're going to blame Belfast for the Titanic sinking, we also have to give them credit for the fucking stupid gear stick controller billionaire death. So, you know, I'm not saying it balances out, I'm just saying, you know, fairness is fairness.
Pulling together for our national interest.
Belfast is the Luigi of cities.
Putting Ukraine in the strongest possible position for peace and protecting innocent civilians from the terror of Russian drones. Mr. Speaker, my efforts continued on Thursday when I met President Trump in the White House to strengthen our relationship with America.
Yeah, and you debased yourself. You debased yourself and the country. Yeah, it was fucking tragic. It was one of the most embarrassing episodes I've ever seen in my life. You disgust me. Who's the Mario of cities? London? I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
Now, what happened in his subsequent meeting with President Zelensky is something nobody in this House wants to see.
He said the line! He did the line! Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see it. He did the line, everyone. Bingo.
But I do want to be crystal clear. We must strengthen our relationship.
Also, don't lie. There are at least 5 people in that house that did want to see that. They stand for the Reform Party. They did want to see that, actually. So when you say no one in the house wanted it, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did, actually. Probably some of the Northern Irish lads did as well. Because some of them are fucking mental.
With America. For our security, for our technology, for our trade and investment. They are and always will be indispensable.
Always. This is what I mean, the hypernormalization, right? We can clearly see that they're not that already. They are dispensable because they've dispensed themselves from the situation. Okay? They've completely cut themselves out of the situation. They have dispensed. Dispensant, they are not. And yet he's like, oh no, they'll always be indispensable. There's no way in which the transatlantic fucking dream can possibly die. It will always be the same forever and ever. It's complete bollocks. It's complete rubbish. Not only should you not want it to be true, it isn't true. Not only is it completely undesirable, the idea of America hanging at the back of us for eternity, it isn't fucking true. They've basically done what the Roman Empire did to Britain. Look to your own defences, lads. We're piecing out of the situation. Toodles. To quote the Emperor.
Never choose between either side of the Atlantic. In fact, Mr. Speaker, if anything, the past week has shown that that idea is totally unserious. Because while some people may enjoy the simplicity of taking a side, this week has shown with total clarity.
Oh,
Which brings us to the
for a
state.
start off, why the fuck is Caroline Noakes even in the fucking
Will
show?
never choose
Jesus.
between either side of the Atlantic. In fact, Mr. Speaker, if anything, the past week has shown that that idea is totally unserious. Because while some people may enjoy the
Oh,
simplicity
serious. The adults in the room, everyone. The adults in the room. Nothing can ever change. It's infuriating. I told you you'd do this, though, didn't I? I think I've made a strenuous and repeated point of making of pointing out to you all that he's just going to pretend like America aren't the problem. He's just going to pretend like the old order is still in place. This is not the transatlantic partnership you're looking for. Like, it's just nonsense.
of taking a side, this week has shown with total clarity that the US is vital in securing the peace we all want to see in Ukraine.
And how was that worked out 24 hours later, Keir? How has that worked out for us? Let's have a look. Oh, this is a doozy as well. We'll get to this. Cheeky little number there. War in Ukraine. There we go. The US has totally paused its military aid to Ukraine. As well, of course, as ending all of its cyber attacks on Russia. Now, I do have to question this, right? For people who are out there who like calling him a Putin stooge is too much. It's too obvious. It's shit lib stuff. Can anyone tell me how exactly his policies would be different if he were being directly funded and directed by the Kremlin? Fundamentally, what would he be doing differently if he were just absolutely 100% in the bag for Putin? What would have changed? None. Absolutely none. He'd be doing exactly this. So, in many respects, it's sadder if he's not getting paid to do this, or if they don't have a P-tape on him or something. If he's doing this because he thinks it's good, if he's doing this because he actually thinks this is the correct policy, he's fucking insane. Absolute fucking madness. Oh, we're on a hype train. Dope. Thank you, Madcat, for gifting 3 months, good lord, to Oregonian Bum. Sorry, not Oregonian. That's a different thing. Argonian Bum. Much love. Yeah, we're on a hype train. If we get to the next level of the hype train, I will finger Donald Trump. I don't even care anymore. That might technically be an illegal thing to say, but I'm going to finger him. Okay? If you get me to the next level of the hype train, I'm fingering him. It's happening. I'm fingering his saggy old fucking ring piece. Anyway, so that happened, right? This is amazing, though, right? So, not only did the Transatlantic Alliance fall to pieces, but J.D. Vance decided to shit on the efforts of the British Army. Yeah, decided to just shit all over us. Let's have a look.
And here's the thing, you know, when you would talk to the Biden administration officials in private, this is another example of a terrible situation the Biden admin left the Trump administration. When you ask them what's the plan, okay, we're going to spend tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars in Ukraine. What is your plan? And they would honestly tell you, well, we're just going to send them weapons for as long as we can and hope eventually they can turn the tide. Hope is not a strategy. Throwing money and ammunition at a terrible conflict, that is not a strategy. The only guy in town with a strategy is the President of the United States, and every...
Yeah, and that's to financially rape the prostrate nation of Ukraine for its mineral wealth. I mean, it is a plan, it's an evil plan.
Everybody needs to follow his lead.
What scares me is Zelensky, when he says it's going to go on for years, how many more lives are going to be lost? He's not going to have a country to save it.
Oh yeah, you really care about lives lost. Your hands are forever stained with the blood of Iraqis. Go fuck yourself.
The minerals deal would have provided the monies to rebuild their country and a strong U.S. presence and maybe European troops as well.
And this is an important part of it. The president knows that, look, if you want real security guarantees, if you want to actually ensure that Vladimir Putin does not invade Ukraine again, the very best security guarantee is to give Americans economic upside in the future of Ukraine. That is a way better security guarantee.
So again, just financial destruction, yeah, brilliant.
Than 20,000 troops from some random country that hasn't fought a war in 30 or 40 years.
Oh, 20,000 troops from some random country that hasn't fought a war in 30 or 40 years. Now, the only two nations that have promised any troops in any kind of peacekeeping mission so far are Britain and France. Okay? Those are the only two countries. In fact, Italy strictly said, we're out. We're gone. We're done. No, we're not sending troops. So it's literally basically only Britain and France. So we're just some random country that haven't fought a war in 30 or 40 years. In the last 30 to 40 years, Britain has, alongside the United States, invaded Iraq twice and Afghanistan. And if you go back 40 years, you can, I think, just about... No, hang on. No, 40 years, but not quite. The Falklands War is slightly before then. But anyway. So, do you hear that, everyone? 600 troops that were killed in Iraq. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting for a second that the Iraqis were wrong to defend themselves from an illegal and horrific invasion and occupation. But we're just looking at it from the perspective of Britain. 600 of our troops died in Iraq. That's not as many as the United States, that's true, but proportionally, in terms of the number of troops we had there, 600 was a lot. And unfortunately, many of those were due to friendly fire from Americans. Thanks, guys. So, we bent over backwards, we made ourselves international pariahs, we broke international law, we sent our own troops, spent our own money, going over to help you cunts do your illegal fucking war for oil, and we're just some random country who hasn't been to war. You'd think he'd know we'd been to war in the last 30 years, considering this fucking cunt spent 6 months in Iraq in a non-offensive role. He went there and wrote articles. That's how pampered this prick is. Do you think during these 6 months you weren't fighting in Iraq? You might have noticed there was a British presence there. And that those guys were putting themselves in danger. And like I say, hundreds of them were killed. That's how much the transatlantic alliance means to these fetid garbage bags. That's how absolutely betrayed our country was by the likes of Tony Blair and his entire cabinet who went along with this. So I'll let Robin Cook off. He didn't. He resigned over this. And Claire Shaw did as well. I'll let those two off. But the rest of them have all got blood on their hands. And have sold us out to the point where they don't give a fuck. They still don't care. We have cucked ourselves time and time and time again. And they still don't give a fuck about us. We're their used cum rag that they can just dispose of whenever they wish. I think that's worth bearing in mind. I think that's definitely worth bearing in mind. Tony Blair is currently on suicide watch at the moment. Well, I hope they're not watching very closely. Let him go, lads. Let him go. Fucking piece of shit. Fuck off, Vance. Cunt.
So I welcome the opportunity for a new economic deal with the US, confirmed by the President last week, because it's an opportunity I'm determined to pursue. I welcome the positive discussions we had on European security, including his clear support for Article 5 of NATO. I welcome the understanding from our dialogue that our two nations will work together on security arrangements for a lasting peace in Ukraine.
How's that working out for you? Because they've literally pulled all aid. less than 24 hours after you said this. And brilliantly, right, fucking amazingly, not only did they do that, they didn't even fucking tell us they were going to do it. Again, we're their biggest cockboys in the world, and they didn't even tell us before doing it. The UK was blindsided by the Trump announcement. Starmer told the Commons yesterday, "I have not seen reports of the US withdrawing support for Ukraine, and as I understand it, that is not the position. Officials were unaware late last night." We're not even their side chick. We're not even that. We're not even that. Like, and not just that, but how pathetic are the Starmer Politburo that they were blindsided by this? I knew he was going to do this. To be honest with you, I didn't expect him to do it straight away. I thought he'd hold on a little bit to see if he could get the fucking minerals deal or whatever. But he was obviously going to do some shit like this. Obviously. He doesn't want to give a fucking penny to them. And it's not even because they have some actual principled stance. It's because liberals support Ukraine. And the entire Trumpian fucking message is do literally anything to own the libs. Destabilise an entire region. Allow Napoleonism to return to Europe to own the libs. Fucking hell. And this wanker was surprised. This fucking absolute empty suit fucking briefcase prick was surprised.
I also welcome the President's continued commitment to that peace, which nobody in this House should doubt for a second is sincere.
It's sincere,
the events of this
honest.
weekend and the moving scenes that greeted President Zelensky as he arrived in London on Saturday. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, I saw for myself he was taken aback when the crowd in Whitehall cheered at the top of their voices, and they were speaking for the whole of our country. Yeah. A reminder that this government, this House, and this nation stand in
No, Philip in the YouTube chat there. I knew we should have never forgiven them for the tea massacre. Oh, sorry, no, I misread it. I knew we should never have forgiven them for the tea massacre. Exactly. That was the line we should have held. Give us our fucking tea back, otherwise we're not negotiating. And then we went and became an absolutely fucking limp dick non-entity of a nation. And now we've got no cards. Trump's got the cards, but without him we've got no cards. We're not even playing cards. We are cardant.
Wavering support behind him and the people of Ukraine. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, we resolved together to move forward the strong cause of just and lasting peace in Ukraine. And then on Sunday, I hosted European leaders from across our continent, equally committed to this cause.
And Canada.
President Macron, Prime Minister Maloney, the leaders of NATO, the European Commission and Council, and the Prime Minister of Canada, a vital ally of this country, the Commonwealth and Ukraine, responsible for training over 40,000 Ukrainian troops.
Yeah, do you remember when they gave a round of applause to that Ukrainian SS guy, the Nazi? Do you remember that? Do you remember when they literally did that in the Canadian Parliament? Yeah. No, they're very connected to Ukraine.
I also had the privilege beforehand of speaking online to the leaders of Estonia, Lithuania and Latvia, each of whom, as close as they are to the front line with Russia, stressed the urgency of the moment. And, Mr. Speaker, it was a productive summit. Together we agreed a clear strategy that the United Kingdom, France and our allies will work closely with Ukraine on a plan to stop the fighting, which we will then discuss directly with the United States. It's a plan that has four...
Yeah, and you literally... I want to know what his statement is now, because this entire statement is based on American backstop. And not only is there not an American backstop, there isn't even an American front stop. They're literally cutting off all aid. So where's your fucking plan now, cunt? What are you going to do? What are you possibly going to do now that your plan lies in fucking tatters? Suck his dick harder? Seems to be your only play, really.
Clear principles, which I'll now share in full with the House.
No. The only play he sees as viable, given the transatlanticist nature of him.
First, that we must keep the military aid to Ukraine flowing. Keep increasing the economic pressure on Russia.
Well, both of those are down the shitter. Like I say, less than 24 hours later. Brilliant. Thanks, Keith.
To that end, alongside our partnership on air defence, we're doubling down on military aid. Already this year, we've taken our support to record levels. But on Saturday, we also agreed...
But don't worry, your grand's still going to fucking freeze to death. Yeah. No, the magic money tree has reappeared, because there's war to be had. What do you think? What do you think? The government's going to spend any money on the poor? No. The government exists to improve BAE Systems' operating profits. That's it. We exist for
Ladies and
Raytheon.
gentlemen,
That's about it.
we got him. Victory is ours.
A new £2.2 billion loan for Ukraine, backed not by the British taxpayer, but by the profits from frozen Russian assets. Second, Mr. Speaker, we agreed that any lasting peace...
Shalal. Firstly, thank you. Welcome to the Kevolution. And secondly, how do we get civil unrest in America? Americans are cocked as fuck. The thing is, as bad as America is right now, a good third of America supports it. A third of America supports this shit. A third of America's like, and the other third might want to do something, but cocked.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Neither do I. Thank you, Katie Marshall. Is McSweeney going to bin Sir Kid Starver? I don't think so. Starmer is cheeseoid. Why cheeseoid exist? He is cheeseoid. Absolutely.
Must guarantee the sovereignty and security of Ukraine, and that Ukraine must be at the table when negotiating their future. That is absolutely vital. Third, we agreed that in the event of a peace deal, we will continue to boost Ukraine's defences and Ukraine's deterrence. And finally, fourth, we agreed to develop a coalition of the willing, ready to defend a deal in Ukraine.
A coalition of the willy?
And guarantee the peace. Mr. Speaker, after all, the Ukrainian position is completely understandable. For them,
thank you,
the
Kato.
war did not begin 3 years ago. That was merely the latest and most brutal escalation. They have signed agreements with Putin before. They've experienced the nature of his diplomacy and the calibre of his word. We cannot accept a weak deal like Minsk again. No, we must proceed with strength, and that does now require urgently a coalition of the willing. Mr. Speaker, we agreed on Sunday that those willing to play a role in this will intensify planning now.
Yeah, so it's just Britain and France. It's literally just Britain and France. There was another time when it was just Britain and France standing up to fascism, and the French got fucked on. And we had to, escape. Good times. I do love a historical echo, don't you? Fucking hell. Anyway, all the cool kids are in here tonight. Everyone go and follow Boy Meets Minnie, who is awesome. And everyone go and follow Lesbian Hot Sauce, who is also awesome. These are things you can and should do.
And as this House would expect...
Look at Christian Wakeford, the chinless cunt. Look at him. Fucking Oh, you cunt, you Tory cunt. Fuck off. Sorry. It's very personal.
Britain will play a leading role, with, if necessary, and together with others, boots on the ground and planes in the air. Mr. Speaker, it is right.
The Dow Jones is down massively, and people were reminding Trump of his tweet about, there you go, under Barack Hussein Obama. If the Dow Jones drops... Oh, hang on. Move out of the way. Katie, you're being very generous, but you're technically in the way, right? Yeah, if the Dow Jones drops 1,000 points in 2 days, the president should be impeached immediately.
Like a baby otter.
I think it's down nearly 2,000 points, isn't it? In the last couple of days now? Thanks to Trump and his Ukraine nonsense and his fucking stupid-ass tariffs against everybody. Which have obviously meant the reciprocal tariffs.
Oil like a baby
so
otter.
everyone's getting fucked on. But, you know, Trump will definitely stick to that, because Trump's a very honourable man who sticks to all of his previous statements.
Europe do the heavy lifting to support peace
like
on
a baby
our
otter.
continent. But to succeed, this effort must also have
for fuck's...
US backing.
We were 1-0 up, we're now 2-1 down, chat. I hope you're happy. You did this.
Oil like
I
a
want to
baby
assure this
otter.
Cunts!
I take none of this lightly. I've visited British troops in Estonia, and no aspect of my role weighs more heavily than the deployment of...
Fuck off, you suit cunt.
Oil like a
God, I
baby
hate
otter.
him so much. Oh, why have I... How have I done that twice now? Oh, for... Can anyone remember where we were? Oh, come on, don't be a fucking cunt now, iPlayer, please. By the way, thank you, Katie Marshall, for gifting 5 subs. Much love. No, 5 memberships.
Mr. Speaker, we resolved together to move forward the strong cause of just and lasting peace in Ukraine. And then on Sunday, I hosted European leaders from across our continent, equally committed to this cause. And finally, fourth, we agreed to develop a coalition of the willing.
Coalition of the willing!
To defend a deal in Ukraine and guarantee the peace. Mr. Speaker, after all, the Ukrainian position is completely understandable. For them, the war did not begin 3 years ago. That was merely the latest and most brutal escalation.
Fuck off, Matt.
They have signed agreements with Putin before. They've experienced the nature of his diplomacy and the calibre of his word. We cannot accept a weak deal like Minsk again.
Minsk!
No, we must proceed with strength. And that does now require urgently a coalition of the willing.
Willie!
Mr. Speaker, we agreed on Sunday that those willing to play a role in this will intensify planning now. And as this House would expect, Britain will play a leading role. With, if necessary...
Has he responded to the aid cuts? No, I don't think he has. Because no one wants to see that.
With others, boots on the ground and planes in the air.
By the way, his plan to have boots on the ground. Like, there's no fucking way in this world the Russians agree to have any kind of peace that has NATO troops right up its arse. It's not going to happen. It's not going to fucking happen. Stop pretending. Like, I know in theory, well, if the Ukrainian government want them there, blah. Yeah, but the Russians are just going to fucking carry on the war then. And then it's just going to end up in a fucking nuclear conflict. The Russians are never going to agree to that. That's literally one of the things they want to avoid. Is more NATO shit on their border. Which is ironic given that them launching this war led to Finland, a country with a border, quite a large border, with Russia joining NATO. So, you know. Well done, Vlad, you prick. But as his plans, as his coalition of the penises is fucking on the flop, some erectile dysfunction, it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Mr. Speaker, it is right that Europe do the heavy lifting to support peace on our continent. But to succeed, this effort must also have strong US backing. I want to assure this House, I take none of this lightly. I've visited British troops in Estonia, and no aspect of my role weighs more heavily than the deployment of British troops in the service of defence.
You can't wait. You've been masturbating furiously over the opportunity to do some war because you're shit at fucking governing. You're absolutely fucking dreadful at domestic policy. So you've been chomping at the fucking cock to get in there. Oh, let's bomb somewhere. Can we bomb somewhere? Can we send some troops? Can we do a war, please?
And security in Europe. And yet I do feel very strongly that the future of Ukraine is vital for our national security.
I would say, yeah, no, Vladimir Putin's not going to attack us here because we've got nuclear weapons. So, like, he's not going to... I mean, it sounds mental, right? The mutually assured destruction sounds like a really stupid, childish principle, right? Sounds like that would never hold up in reality, but, you know, 80 years, well, 70, I suppose, given that you have to have two sides with nuclear weapons, 70 years, and it's held up pretty damn well so far. Ridiculously, it shouldn't. You'd think somewhere down the line someone would, you know, fuck things up, but it's worked so far. So yeah, I don't think Vlad's going to fucking try and invade Britain, because we've got nukes. The problem is, of course, if we've got our troops near to him, what about if he decides to fire on them? Or in trying to fire on the Ukrainians, he accidentally fires on them. Does that mean we're then at war, and we've then got two nuclear powers up against each other? That doesn't seem like a good situation. It doesn't. No, that would not be a situation in which it would be oiled like a baby otter. You're quite incorrect. That would be oiled like a fucking bit of sandpaper. Thank you, Dave B, for becoming a member. Much fucking love to you.
Russia is a menace in our waters and skies. They've launched cyber attacks on our NHS, assassination attempts in our...
Wow, I bet they've done almost as much damage as you and your fucking Tories.
...streets. In this House, we stand by Ukraine because it's the right thing to do. But we also stand by them because it's in our...
Isn't our nuke in America? Well, no, I mean, for a start, we have more than one nuclear weapon. And no, they're not in America. We have, we actually only have one way of doing nuclear weapons in Britain. We have submarines. We have nuclear submarines. I think we have 4 nuclear submarines, 2 of which are constantly active at somewhere in the world at any given time. I don't know what our stockpiles are. I think we've got like 200 or something. I don't know. Yeah, whereas America, of course, have the nuclear triad, which is planes that can drop nuclear bombs. They've got intercontinental ballistic missiles and submarines. See, now I understand the nuclear triad there, whereas Donald Trump, when he first became president, had to have it explained to him 4 times. And I bet if you asked him now, he still wouldn't be able to tell you what it was. I love having ignorant cunts with the nuclear weapons. It's brilliant. I feel really safe.
Interest to do so. Because if we do not achieve a lasting peace,
yellow submarines. We are not a meme. We don't literally have yellow submarines. That is a Beatles song. Please. What kind of camouflage would a yellow submarine be? I mean, technically in British waters, given the amount of piss and shit in it, actually probably quite good camouflage, thinking about it. But if they ever get into, like, blue waters, we're fucked.
That has hit the living standards of working people in Britain. That will only get worse. And Putin's appetite for conflict and chaos, that will only grow.
By the way, Appetite for Conflict and Chaos would be a great name for a metal album. Fuck yes.
So a strong peace, a just peace, a lasting peace.
And one peace.
Now to be our goal. It is vital, it is in our interests, and its pursuit, Britain will lead from the front for the security of our continent the security of our country, and the security of the British people. We must now win the peace. And I commend this statement to the House.
Absolutely pointless human being. To be followed by an even more pointless human being.
I come to the Leader of the Opposition, Kemi Bedrock.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the Prime Minister for advance sight of his statement and also for our conversation earlier today. The United Kingdom is a free, democratic and sovereign country.
Yeah, good one. I've never thought about nuclear submarines as camouflage. Well, yeah, I mean, they paint them darkly so that you can't see them as well with the naked eye. Like, it doesn't... The colour of the submarine doesn't affect it in terms of sonar or whatever, but if you make them vaguely sea-coloured, then you can't necessarily see them very well. Which is an advantage. They don't want to be seen. What is it? 255/Clem H Fandango. What we got? Starmer putting British boots on the ground in Ukraine. Yeah. You know what? I'm okay with this. Airdropping them actual boots is probably not a bad idea. Yeah. Also, good to hear about your functioning kidneys or liver or whatever the fuck it was earlier. I did see it. Yeah. There are 10 submarines in the Royal Navy, consisting of 6 nuclear submarines and 4 ballistic nuclear submarines. Well, that's what I said. 4 ballistic nuclear submarines, yeah. That's what I was talking about. I don't know my shit. You don't need to be fact-checking me, non-binary. Do I condemn crumblins? No, I don't. I am very anti-Semitic.
We recognise that Ukraine is fighting for her survival and
her survival.
To have the same freedom.
So we get this now. If a country is full of people we think are actual people, you use female pronouns for them. Okay, she and her. That's the rule. Palestine, it doesn't get she, her. No. Ukraine and Israel, she has a right to defend herself.
Democracy and sovereignty, which all of us here enjoy. That is why both the opposition and the government are fully committed to supporting Ukraine and President Zelensky. I was also glad to see His Majesty the King welcome President Zelensky at Sandringham. As I said at the weekend, President Zelensky is a hero. He is a symbol of the bravery of the Ukrainian people.
I'm so bored with Kemi Badenoch that didn't even scare me much that time. I was able to just about hold myself together for that one. Thank you, Dave, who says, I have got spare boots if Starmer needs them. I don't think... You know what? I don't think he does, Dave. I think we've got all the boots. Also, is Desmond Swain asleep or possibly dead? Fingers crossed. Behind you there. That's the wanker with the Lord's MCC tie on because he's a fucking cunt.
There are, of course, many
he's not moving. Oh no, he's moving. Fuck.
Disagree.
Oh, bollocks, he's alive. Ugh.
But now is the time for us to discuss where we do agree. I welcome all of his actions this weekend to convene European leaders, as well as the focus on economic security using UK export finance to support British jobs. As the Prime Minister knows, we welcomed the uplift in defence spending to 2.5% of GDP by 2027. We also support the use of foreign aid to achieve this.
Of course you do, because you're fucking ghouls.
We welcome a commitment to reach 3% in the years ahead, and we will support him in taking difficult spending decisions, including on...
Is she important? No, she's not. She will never be Prime Minister. She's nothing. I think she's like some internet troll who keeps attacking David Tennant. She's got some big beef with Doctor Who. I don't know. More a fan of the Daleks, I think.
Welfare. And we will return to the details of how the government will fund this in the near future. But for now, it is right that the Prime Minister is working with allies in Europe and with the United States to bring peace to Ukraine and not a surrender to Russia. As part of this, the Prime Minister has suggested that British troops could be deployed in Ukraine. There are obviously a range of possible options for what such a deployment could look like, and we are keen to work with the government, but we will need details of any such plan. This will be a difficult but significant step. I know many in Parliament...
We want lots of military spending, but don't ever raise taxes on rich people to do it. As long as you're only taking money from the poor, then we will support it. Because we're literally fucking evil.
And across our country will be interested in what this entails, and I ask him to work with us so there can be effective scrutiny. I also welcome the coalition of the willing to support Ukraine and agree that Europe must do the heavy lifting. So can I ask the Prime Minister to update us on what European and other allies are willing to offer towards this coalition?
Yes, let's buy a US government building. Fuck yes. Apparently these buildings are up for sale. Okay. The US General Services Administration non-core property list. Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Hang on a minute, hang on. Whoa. Building... Hang on a minute. Building 12021 in Seattle, Washington has a square footage of 0, as indeed does 22nd and Stout Street surface parking lot. How can you have a square footage of 0? That's non-existent. That's not a building. What am I buying there? A concept? An idea? You're buying the concept of a building. Look, there are loads of them. 0. What the fuck off? AP Tower 1 in Sweetland, Maryland. 0 square footage. Or maybe it's like 0.01 of a foot, and so they're just rounding down to the nearest whole foot. I don't know. Battle Creek Childcare Facility? Is there any one in like cool places? Like, are there any rude sounding ones? Germantown? Why the fuck is there a place called Germantown, Maryland? That's ridiculous. America's a very unserious country. Aberdeen, that's in Scotland. I don't know what you're fucking talking about. London, that's in England. You're having a fucking laugh. St Albans, that's England. Norfolk, that's a county. That's not even a place. What the fuck? You dickheads. Isn't that one called like Bendy Dick or something? Come on. Rome, that's in Italy. You're full of shit. You don't even own these places. Dublin, that's in fucking Ireland. You're full of shit, America, I swear to God. Cambridge, that's England. Boston, England. You don't even own any of these fucking places. Thomasville. Fuck off. Anyway. Athens, that's in Greece. Ugh, taking the piss.
I welcome the use of the proceeds from frozen Russian assets to support Ukraine, and ask the Prime Minister if he has plans to go further and use the frozen assets themselves. Can I ask him for an update on the government's sanctions on Russian-linked individuals, and for confirmation that such sanctions would not be lifted in the event of a ceasefire? Can I ask the Prime Minister to update us on the steps he and other allies are taking to ensure that Ukraine is at the negotiating table for any peace plan, and what he thinks can be done to heal the rift with Washington?
It's so funny that they think they're going to have any impact on this. Like the fucking old fucking kid starver trying to pretend to be fucking Churchill or some shit like that. And this is like, what do you think can be done to try and heal the rift? Look, they're not going to listen to us. Why would they listen to some random country that hasn't been to war for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 fucking years? We're nothing. They don't fucking listen to us. They don't even do the thing where you pretend to listen to it, like a cat will meow at you, and you're like, really? And then what happened? Oh, she never said that, did she? Like, you know what I mean? They don't even do that. They just go, fuck off, cat, you prick. I'm trying to fucking do stuff. I'm big and powerful. Get the fuck away from me.
As the Prime Minister referenced in his speech, the Minsk agreements of 2015 failed to stop Russian aggression and ultimately did not return Ukraine's territorial integrity. His second principle is that any lasting peace guarantees the sovereignty of Ukraine. So can I finally ask, how the Prime Minister will work to ensure we avoid a repeat of the Minsk agreements, and how we can ensure that any peace fully protects Ukrainian sovereignty. At times like these, it is so important that we stand together to defend shared values and the fundamental, basic principle that aggressors should not win. The Prime Minister will have our support to do that and to ensure that we continue to uphold those values all of us in this Parliament hold dear.
Prime Minister.
Absolutely pointless. Absolutely fucking pointless.
Thank you for a message in our discussion this morning. And can I thank the Leader of the Opposition for her support for the measures that we are taking. It matters across this House that we are united on this issue. It matters to the Ukrainians and to President Zelensky. And I can tell you that...
Yeah, I wonder, JD. Oh, for fuck's sake, how do I keep doing this? Oh! Hang on. It's very frustrating that I keep fucking pressing that. Anyway, I was wondering if JD Vance had anything to say about these cheeky little numbers, because apparently we haven't even been to war in the last 30 or 40 years. I wonder how these corpses turned up then. I wonder if that was any illegal wars you dragged us into, lads. Yeah, thanks for that. I am a professional streamer. Oh, for fuck's sake. Fact. This is just a fact. She is the new fucking Stavros? Whatever, I don't know. Why does it take this long to fucking load? There we go.
Can I thank her for a message in our discussion this morning? And can I thank the Leader of the Opposition for her support for the measures that we are taking. It matters across this House that we are united on this issue. It matters...
Yeah, hello there, Captain Swiss. Everyone go and take a look at Captain Swiss's YouTube channel. A little bit lib. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but a good lad. Yeah, we should have a talk sometime, actually, Professor Swiss, Captain Swiss. Yeah, see where you're at politically, because we haven't talked in years.
To the Ukrainians and to President Zelensky. And I can tell you that he was moved by the reception that he got in our country on Saturday. And I can tell you I felt very proud to be British on Saturday when our country spoke.
Oh, it's all going a bit 2012.
The unity across the House, and I do thank her for it. She asks about the details of any deployment. We will, of course, put details before the House when we get to that stage, if we get to that stage. And as I mentioned to her this morning in our phone call, I will make sure that she gets whatever briefings she needs to be able to look at the detail before it's put before the House, so she's fully informed. On the question of other allies, we had a long meeting yesterday with a number of allies. My strong view is that we have to move forward, we have to lead from the front, and therefore we need a coalition of the willing, because otherwise we will move...
Okay, I am going to be calling it the coalition of the willing. Get used to it.
...the speed of the most reluctant, and that will be too slow. A number of countries and allies indicated their support. They will set that out in due course. I won't pretend that every country is in the same place on this issue. That is why I and others took the view that we should take a leading position and move forward. But I will give further details as they become available. On the question of the frozen assets themselves, obviously the proceeds, the profits, are being used in the way that
fucking
the House understands.
3-1, you cunts. You did this, chat. Are you happy with yourselves?
Stands in accordance with the statement I just made. On the assets themselves, it is a very complicated issue, not straightforward. But I do think that we need to do and are doing more work to look at what are the possibilities, at least, along with other countries. But I'm not going to pretend that this is simple or straightforward. On the sanctions, we introduced the heaviest sanctions
Release the sausages,
that
yes.
we put in place. And she's quite right, they must not be lifted just because there's a cessation in the fighting. They must be kept in place as a vital part of our armoury, something which didn't happen with Minsk. And she's quite right to say that we have to avoid the mistakes of the past, which is why a security guarantee is so important. A guarantee that we...
And it's already it's already down the shitter. In less than 24 hours from him pretending that this was a viable plan, it's already gone. Fucking embarrassing.
Should lead, but needs US backing if it's to act as a proper guarantee.
And you failed.
And
You've literally already failed.
Ukraine must be at the table in any discussions about the future of Ukraine, and I think that's a common position across the House. Thank you.
The Foreign Affairs Select Committee, Emily Thornbury. Dame Emily Thornbury.
Very much, Mr. Speaker.
Ooh, Dame Emily
we all watched with
Thornbury.
alarm and distress the scenes from the White House on Friday. But
Nobody wanted to see that.
equally were, across the country, extremely grateful that we had a Prime Minister who had such a pitch-perfect response at the weekend. And
as he wiped Trump's cum from his fucking face, yeah.
works towards a just peace for Ukraine, he has the support of the whole country in doing so. But here is the question. The Prime Minister said on Laura Kuenssberg on Sunday that following the cuts to the aid budget that
he mostly said, nobody wants to see that.
He would go through line by line to ensure that the priorities of Ukraine, Sudan and Gaza were all prioritised in a lasting peace. The difficulty is that after refugee costs, admin costs, the department's commitments and things like the World Bank and the UN are taken into account, it's hard to believe that there will be enough left in the budget to provide meaningful humanitarian support in these priority areas. So does the Prime Minister understand the concern of so many that these cuts could in fact, in the long term, hobble the very leadership that the Prime Minister has shown this weekend and that he has finally given the world some hope?
Well, I thank her for her question, and it's a very important issue. What I did last week was to announce the biggest sustained increase in defence spending since the Cold War, and the circumstances and the context require it. And that decision had to be made, and I was determined that it would be fully funded so the House could see where the money would come from. On the question of overseas aid, I am committed to it. What we will now do is go through line by line the funding and look at our priorities. Of course, Ukraine, Sudan, Gaza are right up there in our priorities.
Isn't Thornbury in the cabinet? No, she's not.
But I also want to work with others and across the House, if we can, at other ways of raising money and finance for development and aid overseas. I saw the President of the World Bank on Friday to have that very discussion and want to have that and mentioned it in my discussions with other countries this weekend, many of whom want to join in attempts to find other ways to leverage money, particularly from the private sector, where states can't do it in the way they might want to just at the moment.
The private sector solution. Don't you love neoliberals? The private sector will help Ukraine. Honest.
That's the approach that we will take.
Leader of the Liberal Democrats, Sir Ed Davey.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for advance sight of his statement. We were all horrified by Friday's scenes in the Oval Office. President
Nobody wants to see that.
Trump's attack on the brave and dignified President Zelensky left everyone shocked and appalled.
Well, because no one wanted to see it.
The honourable member for Clacton. Nobody else watching those scenes could fail to understand that we've entered...
Okay, that's a reasonable little jibe. Oh, I'm okay, Dave. You know what? For all of your foolishness about one-on-one on FIFA, I'll let you have that one. That's okay.
A new era.
I mean, you could have at least zip-lined into Parliament today, and you didn't. Opportunity missed.
One where the United States prefers to align itself with tyrants like Putin rather than its democratic partners. On these benches, we've supported the Prime Minister's actions and leadership. Britain leading the world, as we have so many times in the past, bringing together Europe and Canada in London to work towards a just peace that guarantees Ukraine's sovereignty and security. But, Mr. Speaker, we need to reduce our dependency on the United States. Because I say with deep regret, I fear that President Trump...
Wow, even Ed Davey, even the Liberal Democrats, the very fulcrum of the Atlanticist fucking wet dream, even they're like, we need to maybe move away from America a little bit. You know? Oh my God, it's so Jova. It's never ever been more Jova than it is currently Jova. Look, it's dead, lads. If even the Liberal Democrats are like, we need to maybe just take a little chill away from America for a bit, you know, like if even the Liberal Democrats are doing that, it's time to move along. It's really time to move along, lads. Fucking hell. Cool stuff, Captain Swiss. I'll check you out on the Blue Sky, and we'll sort something out.
Is not a reliable ally with respect to Russia. And with that regard, did the Prime Minister discuss with our European allies our proposals for a new rearmament bank? And
no, because that's irrelevant. And also, you haven't asked to rejoin the European Union so far in your statement. Now, you haven't sat down yet, so you might get to it. But if you don't mention how you want to rejoin the European Union, I have to conclude that you have been abducted by aliens and that some sort of alien meat suit approximation of your visage has been brought down to earth, and that is the creature that is speaking to us from Parliament. Because the real Ed Davey would not miss an opportunity to say, can we rejoin the EU, please? It is his one burning passion in life.
For seizing the tens of billions of pounds worth of Russian assets to support Ukraine. Yeah. And in his conversations with the Canadian Prime Minister, was he clear that we stand with our Commonwealth ally in the face of President Trump's threats?
And did he ask him if Fidel Castro was actually his dad? Because that would be memes.
Mr. Speaker, many of us were confused by Lord Mandelson's comments yesterday. So can the Prime Minister confirm that they do not represent government policy? And does he agree that the British ambassador should not be freelancing on American TV? Mr. Speaker.
Well, that was one of the problems with sending Mandelson, is that he's not actually he's not a diplomat. He's no interest in like holding the government line or whatever. And also he was massive friends with a sex trafficking pederast for many years and attended his birthday party. But I'm sure Peter Mandelson is innocent of all of those things. I would never suggest otherwise.
The Prime Minister will have our support if the UK continues to lead with our European and Commonwealth allies for Ukraine's defence and our collective security.
I thank him for his question, and he talks about the scene on Friday afternoon. Nobody wants to see that. My response:
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody. I should cut together the bits of him just repeatedly saying, "Nobody wants to see that." Fucking hell! You are a robot. You are a malfunctioning fucking ham-faced robot. Fuck off, mate.
Was to recognise the urgency of the need to repair the breach, which is why I spoke to President Trump and President Zelensky on Friday night and again on Saturday night.
Wants to say that.
And are continuing in that work because, for me, the single most important thing is lasting peace in Europe and Ukraine, and nothing is going to deter me from that or lose my focus on that. On the dependency on the US, I don't agree with him. The US...
we should carry on being dependent on them. God, you're a fucking cock bitch. Oh my God, you're pathetic. Not even the usual thing like, we should keep up our alliance with them. We've got a great partnership, the special relationship. No, we should remain dependent on them. Dependent, like a fucking drug addict or something. We could give up whenever we liked. We could, honest. But I reckon we just carry on mainlining America. Just do fucking spoon after spoon injected right into our cocks. Fuck it. Jesus Christ. It's so pathetic. As if the Prime Minister is standing in the House of Commons saying we need to continue being dependent on another nation. Absolutely pathetic. Tragic shit.
The UK have the closest of relationships. Our defence, our security, our intelligence are completely intertwined. No two countries are as close as our two countries, and it'd be a huge mistake at a time like this to suggest that any weakening of that link is the way forward for security and defence in Europe. On the question of a rearmament bank, yes, I do think we should continue discussions with others as to what the possibilities.
Trump thinks Spain is a part of BRICS. Is this... Oh my God.
Spain is very low. And yet, are they a BRICS nation?
What?
They're a BRICS nation, Spain. You know what a BRICS nation is? Well, you'll figure it out. But, and if the BRICS nations want to do that, that's okay, but we're going to put at least a 100% tariff on the business they do with the United States. You know what the BRICS is, right? You guys know.
You fucking don't. You dopey bastard. Honestly, he's fucking brain dead. He's brain dead. He's actually fucking soup. Soup. That's all he is. Fucking idiot. Absolute moron. Oh, it's going to be a nuclear war and we're all going to fucking die. We just have to accept that and just come to peace with it.
Could be, and that formed some of the discussion yesterday with our allies. Again, on assets, he knows the situation is complicated, but there are ongoing...
Yeah, exactly. He thinks... But that's the encapsulation. It's not just that he's thick as pig shit and an ignorant wanker, even though he's been president twice now. He has the best advisors on Earth. He has access to the greatest minds on Earth. And yet is so uninquisitive that he's remained the ignorant twat he was before he ever stepped foot in the Oval Office. But it's not just that. It's the gall, the undeserved confidence to be like, you know what the BRICS countries are, right? As if he has any concept of what the fuck the BRICS countries are. Fucking hell. Honestly, give me the confidence of a mediocre white man. I mean, I am a mediocre white man. I just don't have the confidence of one. Can you please give me that? Where's my privilege, motherfucker?
Discussions. I spoke at length with the Canadian Prime Minister yesterday because we had a bilateral meeting as well as the meeting with other colleagues in which I was able to assure him of our strong support for Canada, a close ally of ours, a strong supporter of Ukraine, and Canada have led the way on the training that's been so vital.
That was from January.
Ukraine. So
I missed that. That was from January. That was from like the first fucking day of him being in office. Look. From the AP. The 21st of January 2025. Yeah. US President has apparently confused Spain for a member of the BRICS countries. Spain is not in BRICS, whose initials stand for Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Although didn't Turkey join as well, I think? Didn't Turkey join BRICS? BRICS offered Turkey partner country status. Okay. I don't know what that... I don't know how... Is that different than being a full member? They're a partner, apparently. Is this week's United fan meltdown out yet? Yes, that's going to be after this.
They were very welcome at the table yesterday. In relation to the ambassador's comments, look, the plan is clear. We're working particularly with the French. I've had extensive conversations with President Macron over the last week, intensively over the weekend. talking to Ukraine as well. Those are going on at the moment, and the intention is to then have discussions with the United States in relation to that plan. So as soon as the details are available, I'll share them with the House, but they are still being worked on at the moment. There's no guarantee of success, but I'm not going to let up until we have done everything we can to ensure peace in Europe and peace for Ukraine.
Chair of the Defence-led Committee, Tamarji Singh Desi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I welcome the Prime Minister's statement and the warmth of his welcome and hugs for President Zelensky and his show of leadership on defence and security.
Hugs. Ukraine friend. Hugs.
Security matters in our continent as he hosted his Sunday summit of leaders in London. Can the Prime Minister, my right honourable friend, assure the House that in our pursuit for a just, lasting peace, that he will do his level best to convince President Trump to provide security guarantees for Ukraine, and that he will convince those NATO...
That's already died on its arse, mate. I'm glad you're the chair of the Defence Committee. We're in good hands.
...allies not spending 2% on defence to step up to the plate and do much more.
Fuck off.
Well, on both fronts. Firstly, yes, of course, I'm talking to President Trump about security guarantees. That formed
and it's gone so successfully well. It's been really beautiful. Well done, Keir. Thank you, mate. You talked to him about it and he decided to do the exact opposite. You are an international statesman par excellence.
A large part of our discussion on Thursday and our subsequent discussions. I think it is right that Europe does the forward-leaning on this, that we have to do more on security guarantees, but it does need a US backing to those guarantees, and that is the very discussion that I'm having. On the question of spending, I think that across Europe, in this era, we now have to step up on capability, coordination, and on spending, and that did form part of our discussions yesterday.
James Cleverly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I find myself in the strange and rather uncomfortable position of very much agreeing with...
Okay, Super Tiny Bob, I wasn't suggesting the Sikh community were good or bad or indifferent. I was suggesting that your man there, Desi, is a fucking idiot, regardless of his religious beliefs.
The Prime Minister on everything he has said.
Oh God, why does this cunt exist
today? And whilst I often take great delight in criticism of the government, I think this weekend he has not really put a foot wrong.
More Tory than the Tories. He really is.
But he does need to go further. The small increase in defence spending that he announced was welcome, but fundamentally we do need a gear shift on this.
So we need to have lots more public spending, but just in this one specific area, and all other areas can fuck off and die. Brilliant. Ghoul.
Would echo the points made by my right honourable friend, the Leader of the Opposition, that when, and it will be when not if, he has to make some really difficult decisions about balancing defence spending against domestic expenditure, that we will not try and play politics.
Oh no, we don't play politics with this very sensitive political matter. No. Basically, he means don't tax people. Don't tax rich people.
That we will support him, because we need to send a message now to our friends in Ukraine and to potential aggressors around the world that we take our defence, the defence of our values and the defence of our friends seriously.
Well, I thank him for the unity across the...
Well, if it's so important, if our spending this amount of money is so important, surely you would be happy to do that regardless of where the money comes from. Because it's that important, right? Like maybe taxing farmers at all.
And he's absolutely right.
Taxing Jeremy Clarkson
at all. Those who want to challenge our values when they see this House united on...
Thank you, Lord Fruitus, for gifting a sub to Elron Hubward.
Either Ukraine or on defence spending, and we have to face this era with confidence and with unity across this House, wherever...
You never know when those sneaky French might invade again. Well, true. You can never be sure. I mean, you can, obviously, but, you know. Don't forget, everyone, if you wanted to, you can do bits messages and subs and memberships and super chats and all of that shit. All of that is available to you. And if we get onto the hype train again, I will finger Trump. Yeah, that's right. I'm putting it on the table, people. I will finger the President of the United States of America. Yeah. It's going to be difficult, but I reckon I can do it.
We can. I'd invite him. It's been good to have him agreeing with me. We should do this more often.
I think so.
Thank you.
You actually agree on quite a lot. You're both Tories.
Mr. Speaker, I'd first of all like to thank the Prime Minister for the leadership he showed pulling together all our allies yesterday in London and acknowledging the bravery and sacrifice of the people of Ukraine. I was in Ukraine last week. I met with the Mayor of Kharkiv, a frontline city of 2 million people undergoing daily attacks and blackouts from Russian forces. He told me that they had a power project that had been cancelled at short notice, funded by USAID, generating 11.2 megawatts, which would shore up their energy pipeline. Now, where others have stepped
back... Am I doing the Trump Nussie? No. No, I'm fingering his bumhole. Again, but we need to get onto the hype train, because, you know, that's not the way it works. The Kev doesn't finger for free.
Step forward and support projects like that, God, either from Russian assets or our own aid budget.
Well, the whole power supply is hugely important in Ukraine. Let's face it, power and energy has been weaponised by Putin. That is why he's attacking the power supplies to communities across Ukraine. And of course, we will work with them to ensure they have the security and the power supplies that they need as we go forward.
For the House, Edward Lee.
Our enemies should know that our Prime Minister has 100% support from us.
That's not a healthy shade of skin, my friend. You are ill. You have blood issues. Mostly that it's scotch rather than blood at this point, I think.
I noticed in Moscow they're referring to the small size of the British Army. Perhaps the Prime Minister could remind them of what the Kaiser said in 1914 about the contemptible little British Army. And
we're World War I posting, chat. That's how far we've sunk. We're now doing fucking Kaiser memes. We're doing Kaiser Wilhelm memes. Why do all those cunts go up every time someone is called? That's essentially that's the parliamentarian way of putting your hand up, saying, I want to be called next, Mr. Speaker. But because they're so far away, in order to make that contrast better, they all have to stand up. So the people who stand up and don't get called and then sit down again are the people who want to speak next. So there is a legitimate reason for it. It's very stupid. It's a phenomenally inefficient way of doing it, but it's, you know, it's the British Parliament. That's what we do.
will you tell the President Putin and other tyrants that our army, the most professional in the world, is quite capable of giving as good as it gets? But to continue the historical illusion, as in 1939, if we do stand up to the mark with the French, it's best to have a security guarantee from...
Jesus Christ, we're literally doing World War I and World War II posting. Thanks for toning down the rhetoric, Teddy.
The Americans.
You're fucking wrong.
Well, I thank him for his unity because that is really important. And I think I speak for the whole House in saying we're very proud of our armed forces in everything that they do.
I'm just going to put that out there. I'm not. No. They're a weapon of imperialism. Fuck them.
They're at the leading edge. They're playing a key part in Ukraine, and they will continue to play a key part in the security and defence of Europe.
Dr. Rosanna Allen-Carr.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Can I congratulate the Prime Minister on bringing European leaders together at the weekend and for setting the record straight with JD Vance on the issue of free speech? President...
Oh, yeah, talking of the freedoms of the peaches, did you see what the free speech-loving Donald Trump put out there today? Where is it? Where's the freedoms of the peaches? Where is he? I definitely did. Oh, where did? Oh, for fuck's sake. Here we go. All federal funding will stop for any college or school or university that allows illegal protests. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on the crime, arrested. No masks! Thank you for your attention to this matter. Free speech. This is the free speech presidency. From the same people who told you that someone blocking you on Twitter was against the freedom of speech. Cool, very normal, very free speech. Love it.
Zelensky is resilient and brave, just like the nation that he represents. And in the second week of the war, when I went to Ukraine with my medical team, we could see firsthand that there was absolutely nothing that the Russians will not do. So can the Prime Minister promise that our support will not waver, and he will continue working closely with our European allies to make sure that we bring about peace in Ukraine?
I can give her that assurance. We will not waver. We will work with our allies.
Madeira Wilson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I welcome the Prime Minister's statement and his unequivocal support of the United Kingdom for President Zelensky and Ukraine. But in view of his cuts to the aid budget, but also with the eyes of the world focused on Zelensky, Ukraine and Russia, could he please reassure the House that he will not forget about the Middle East, and in particular the decision by Netanyahu's government to block aid to Israel, and what representations is he making on behalf of the government to reverse that? It's a breach of international law.
By the way, Birmingham City lost 3-1. I hope you're happy, chat. Are you happy?
Well, let me be really clear. The decision to block aid into Gaza is completely wrong. And should not be supported in this House. On the contrary, what we need is more aid going into Gaza, desperately needed aid at speed and at volume, and we're making those representations.
Cat Smith.
Speaker, can I congratulate the Prime Minister on his strong leadership in his response to the fast-moving events?
You don't all have to suck his dick. I'm just saying, you don't have to. You could accept that, yeah, he hosted a thing. Cool.
Of the weekend.
Especially when a day later it falls to pieces. Because the actual leader of the show, Trump, went, nah, fuck it. You see all of your hard work there? Nah, fuck it. No. Knock the Jenga tower over. Bollocks to you.
And ask whether or not he will recommit to increasing international aid spending to 0.7% when the fiscal circumstances allow.
Yes, I do want to restore aid and development funding as soon as fiscal events allow. It's a principle.
So you think having that spending at that level is good, but we can't afford it. So you're literally saying we can't afford to help people here or abroad, but we can spend billions on war. That is the decision you have taken, Keir Starmer, and I'm glad you're going to lose. I'm not glad who you're going to lose to,
in the meantime,
but I'm glad you're going to lose.
I want to explore
you deserve
with
to
others
lose.
What other levers we can have to increase aid and development.
I do love the
without
meerkat
necessarily
vibes.
increasing the spend within the government.
Technically,
budget.
this is not Prime Minister's questions. This is a statement, Prime Ministerial statement to the House about Ukraine and that.
Stephen Flynn.
Speaker, there are many issues on which the Prime Minister and I will passionately
Roll your R's. Ukraine.
disagree, but when it comes
Love
to the security of Ukraine and support for President Zelensky, we are, of course, united. And I, too, would wish to commend the Prime Minister on his announcement yesterday and, indeed, his leadership in the summit with our European allies and, indeed, our Canadian allies, too. Unfortunately, this afternoon it's been reported that President Trump is set to meet with American aides to discuss withdrawing military aid to Ukraine. Are these reports that something...
Which is therefore fascinating that, as I previously reported, only a mere hour ago, or whatever the fuck it was, that the UK government was apparently blindsided by Trump's announcement that he was going to withdraw all aid. Even though literally, in the House of Commons, the leader of the Scottish National Party told them in the well, technically afternoon, I guess, in that afternoon that this is what was going to happen, and they were blindsided. Honestly, we're run by fucking idiots. We're run by the dumbest cunts in the world. Honest to God, fucking useless.
That the Prime Minister recognises, and if so, what impact will that have upon the timetable he and President Macron are currently working to?
I haven't seen reports of the US withdrawing support for Ukraine, and as I understand, that is not their position.
Yeah. Dun, 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 you get the idea. A few hours later. That, as I understand it, that is not their policy. So I'm just going to sit down now and pretend like that isn't about to happen. Fucking dickhead. Also, notice how boring the British Parliament is and how much better it would be if it was like Serbia's Parliament. Fuck yes. Smoke bombs, motherfucker. It's the only way. It's the only way. What the fuck is that? Who is holding up an umbrella? What the it's smoke. It's not fucking rain. It's not going to help you. Look at this. Fuck yes, lads. I don't even know what they're angry about. No idea. Doesn't matter. To fucking lawmakers absolutely rinsing each other with smoke bombs. Fuck yes. I don't think this is parliamentary behaviour, and I'm very much here for it.
I thank him for his support on this issue, although I was somewhat concerned that the SNP is continuing its suggestion that now is the time to abandon the nuclear deterrent. If ever there was a time to reaffirm support for the nuclear deterrent, it is now. We mustn't reduce our security and defence. I think it is a...
Wow, we've got no money, but we can afford 100 billion, squillion, gazillion pounds on new nuclear weapons. Fantastic.
Completely wrong-headed decision they should reconsider.
I think you should reconsider being alive, but, you know, that's just me.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, the actions of the Prime Minister this week demonstrated why UK leadership
in Minecraft
in defence and security on Ukraine is crucial. I also agree with the Prime Minister that it's important to strengthen our relationship with the US. But can I ask him, in the coming months, will he consider whether we should be bringing forward the proposal to hit 3% spend before the next election? We need to do what it takes.
Wow, all the budget hawk people all of a sudden have disappeared. We need to spend more, and we need to spend it now on the defence now. We need more military-industrial complex spending. Yes, woo.
I set out our position last week, which is 2.5 by 2027 and 3% in the next Parliament as fiscal as fiscal circumstances allow.
Andrew Mitchell.
Mr. Speaker,
that's from years
Prime
ago.
Minister should surely be
Elliot,
commended
but
both
thank you.
for the meetings he held in the White House last week and for the effective leadership which he has shown over the week.
Man, the Tories love it, man. The Tories get such a boner for war. They fucking love it.
Will he bear in mind,
Yes, Sutton Coldfield down the road from me.
as he seeks to forge this coalition of the willing with urgency and vigour, that the GDP of Russia is some $2 trillion. The GDP of the 6 European members of NATO, most committed, is more than 7 times that at $15 trillion. And that should surely add to the effectiveness of the deterrent. And
I actually don't care about this anymore. We'll do this and then we'll move on to an allied topic, but still. Oh yeah, and I forgot we're supposed to do the highlights as well, aren't we? So, Man United lost in the FA Cup on penalties. It was very funny. So we're going to take a little look at their fans going mental. It's the thing we do from time to time. Quite often, in fact, because they lose all the fucking time, which is hilarious. And I need a bit of football schadenfreude right now as well, you know. Do we need 13 minutes of highlights? I don't think so. There we go.
That's another good ball from De Ligt. Darlow again is his...
No, we don't need. We need the goal. Where's the goal? Is this it? I think it is. Anyway, right. So,
ball in, header!
So Fulham go 1-0 up, right.
Andreas Pereira with the Fulham corner kick, Muniz, and in!
Shit
Calvin
defending
Bassey
again.
has scored for Fulham. Calvin Bassey, on the occasion of his first ever game in this famous old competition, has headed Fulham in front at Old Trafford.
Now, to be fair, it wasn't as bad as their defending for that goal at Everton when they had like fucking 6 attempts to clear it, but it's pretty wank. It's pretty wank.
Yeah. Well, he's had Rasmus Højlund on toast for the entirety of the first half, so there shouldn't be any shock that it's Calvin Bassey that puts Manchester United 1-0 down, scores for Fulham. I've been coming. We've done nothing.
Don't worry, if you don't like the footy, we'll be back to politics shortly. We've got a funny LBC bit.
Done absolute nothing. And once again, we concede from a set piece. Once again, we concede from a corner. Manchester United conceded the equal most 11 goals from corners in the Premier League this season. Add another in the cup.
Hello, Kwa Marazov. You should hit the follow button.
Corner. If they score from this... Oh, for fuck's...
He's Alan Partridge,
I can't
man.
believe I
don't want to do this anymore.
And sat down and they've scored. I've been stood up all half. I sit down for half time and they score a goal. I truly have been sat down. I can't believe it. If I'd stayed standing up, I don't know whether they would have scored. I can't believe it. From another bloody corner. We're top of the league for goals.
Well, we're mostly talking about Ukraine, but we're taking a small little journey into a bit of fluff. It's just a bit of football nonsense. But we'll be back to talking about Ukraine shortly.
Conceded this summer. Look, you've got to wipe your own arse. We're Manchester United. In life, you've got to wipe your own arse. And in life,
that's true.
You've got to deal with...
that is literally true. You can't argue with the basic fact of that. In life, you've got to wipe your own arse. Correct.
Corners.
And we're down 1-0. Yeah, you just knew, man. Corner right before halftime, and especially one that wasn't even supposed to be a corner to begin with, that we just gave right to them.
Bitch.
And we're down 1-0. Unbelievable. Right before halftime, too. You could see it from a mile away. Unreal.
Boy, and just like that, 1-0, bruv. And it was coming as well, you know. It was absolutely coming. Calvin Bassey, you know. It was coming as well. It was coming, guys.
Yeah, that pig.
See that, bro? I swear down, bro. This commentator's curse thing is real, you know. I swear down, it's real, bro. It was coming, bro. United just possession for no reason, no shots on target, and then they concede, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? And Bruno's there moaning at his teammates as well. That's not gonna help, bro. I'll be real. It's not gonna help. Shit.
Oh, mate. Again, we identified that.
Bassey as well. Yeah, well, that comes from turning the ball over so easy.
Yeah.
That's how they do.
Kwa Marazov, I'm very much pro-Ukraine, if that's of any use to you.
Goal.
Again, the set pieces, I know it sounds like, you know, if it was this easy, but you gotta go man for man, mate. You've gotta, that's your job. Because now we're going to half-time, we're 1-0 down.
Every corner we get, we're thinking it's going to be a goal. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
All right, then. Corner again. Andreas Pereira now for Fulham. In it comes. Oh, shit! Oh, fucking hell, they've done us, me! Shirley Bassey again, for fuck's sake! Oh, my goodness me! Might as well be bloody Shirley Bassey! Tina Turner! Whitney fucking Houston, mate! They'd all fucking score against us right now, wouldn't they? Goodness me! Celine Dion would fucking put one in the back of the net against us right now, for fuck's sake! Bassey's done it again! Back post, shocking stuff! It's an absolute disgrace and a nonsense! It's a monstrosity of Subutio static melts! And of course Andre Onana's not getting across to it, mate! What the fuck? Fucking ashtray on a motorcycle, this guy! Bloody useless!
Oh, Bassey fucking... Oh, the country, you look like a fishing goal. Oh, senor. Oh, United are conceding from a set piece. Ay, ay, ay. Shit.
Fair enough, I guess.
Bruno Fernandes!
Now, to be fair, the Bruno Fernandes finish was fucking top, man. You've got to say.
Been getting there. Garnacho, who's done pretty well. Darlow, good area. That Bruno Fernandes.
That's a fucking
It's
good
that
goal.
man again.
Like, he's one of the worst leaders of a football club ever. He shouldn't be captain of anything, but it's a fucking good finish.
Manchester United captain to the rescue. When they need salvation, Bruno Fernandes steps up.
That is one magnificent finish with the left foot. The control he gets on that ball.
It's the power as well. It's placed perfectly.
Yes! Roy Keane, you can say what you want. You can say what you want. But time and time and time and time and time and time again, who is it? Who is it? Who is the one? Who is the
I
one
did see the Hey
who
Big Spender
always
joke as
bails
well, yeah.
Manchester United out the shit? It's Bruno Fernandes. You can't. That's why. For all of those people, they want to talk all that shit about him. He's not a captain. He's not a leader. Man United, they're 15th with him. Where would we be without him at this point? Who else is scoring? Nobody.
Well, one more. Yeah, no one's saying he's not a good footballer. He's clearly got skill, but like he goes missing when you actually need him. That's the problem.
1-1! 1-1! I don't even know what happened. I tell you what, I'm just not to watch the game anymore. I was sitting down when Fulham scored and Manchester United have scored, and I don't even know who did it. Have that. Shove that. Right where it goes.
He's very much the Chris Kamara of the situation. Man United have scored, but who is it? I don't know, Jeff.
I don't know, because I don't actually know what happened, but I do know that it's 1-1, and I don't know how it happened. Oh, that's a big goal. Huge goal. Huge goal for Manchester United, and I bloody missed it. But huge goal, that.
There we go.
You're supposed to be...
Yes! What a ball, what a finish that is.
It's called a watch-along. You're supposed to watch along. If you're not watching, it's just an along, which just sounds like a town in Australia.
That's a very good ball. That's a very good ball as well. Come on. Very good. What a finish. Great ball. Great finish.
He wasn't offside, was he, Dallo, when he
Great finish.
ran through?
That was my concern at the start, but I think he come back on before Garnacho played in the ball. Lovely finish, that. They're really difficult, them on the halfies, aren't they?
Yeah, it was weak foot as well.
Yeah.
First time as well. Sliding it to the back post.
But again, like you said there,
that's the best ball he's done.
Cut back.
Come on, boys. Can we make something happen here? Garnacho's got it out wide left. Plays through Dallo. I believe he's onside. Left-footed ball in the box to Bruno! He's done it again! He's done it again! 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 He's straight up winter soldier in real life. Come on! Don't ever disrespect that man. Ever. He's the fucking best player in the world. Bruno Fernandes! What a fucking finish by the Portuguese Magnifico! Come on! Believe! Fucking believe! Get in there, my son!
Let's fucking go! Bruno Fernandes with a monster goal! It's a sick finish by Bruno! Just strokes it in from distance with a left foot, I think it was, across the floor, mate. Little daisy cutter to the bottom right-hand corner. It's fucking Pete.
Oh, I was unmuted. Sorry, Bruno Fernandes is not the best player in the world, and anyone who thinks he is a fucking idiot.
G. Get in there, Bruno Fernandes. It's a huge goal for Man United.
Gallows onside. He's going to cross it in. Is it to Bruno to shoot? One!
Leftist
Bruno
audio,
Fernandes!
love it.
Another goal! Another goal by our guy! Bruno!
He sounds like he's from Bristol. Yeah, he's from somewhere down the West Country, yeah.
Bruno! Bruno!
But of course he's not from Manchester. He's a Man United fan. What are you talking about? Why would you expect him to have a Mancunian accent? That's silly.
Bruno! Portuguese connection from Manchester United. 1-1.
Ah, yes, 1-1. Lovely stuff. We're back in the fucking game, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not over yet. Shout out Zayn, bro. Shout out Zayn. You weren't right. You weren't wrong, bro. Do you know what I mean? We scumbagged it again, bro. We're back in there. That's like a good finish as well. Cross the goalkeeper. I need to see that again. Fulham look stressed, bro, because they know, bro.
Yeah, okay, so we're on to the penalties. So it finished 1-1, and because the Football Association are fucking scum, they've gotten rid of the FA Cup replays, because apparently traditions don't mean anything. Football before 1992, before the Premier League, didn't exist. We don't need to think about anything that ever happened in the past. It's all fucking shit. And we're just going to do whatever we like. Fuck the fact that it's literally financially propped up some of the smaller teams in the pyramid over the course of time. No, that's fine. Fuck it. The Premier League won it, so that's fine. Who gives a shit? So no more replays. So they go straight to a penalty shootout. And to say it doesn't go well for Manchester United is an understatement. Where's the penalties? Just get to the fucking penalties. To be fair, they did well. The first 3 penalties were fucking gangbusters, but you know.
Nana with the save.
Really good save again, sharp and quick down to that left-hand side.
Big kick this.
Don't send your centre-half. Dude, don't send a defender up in the first 5. You've got 5 attacking players on the pitch. Why the fuck is your centre-half taking a penalty? It's ridiculous. And that's not just me saying it. We'll get to the highlights in a second. Shit. Absolutely shit.
Lindelof is the first to make...
That's a 50-50 penalty. You're cutting down your options enormously. If he goes the right way, he saves that every fucking time.
Leno the first to make a save.
Rubbish.
Advantage Fulham.
Fucking rubbish.
Oh, God, it's Lindelof. He's done nothing good since he's come on. He has done nothing. All he's done is bad passes, fall over, struggle to clear the ball. We are screwed. Please, Lindy, please. You just knew it. You just knew it. Since he's come on, he's been rubbish. Absolutely rubbish since he came on.
Technically, it was the 4th penalty, but I'll let you off.
You just knew. Awful.
You what? Oh, Jesus.
No one saw this coming.
No.
You can have a joke dick pendering, but actually, Harry Maguire's a good penalty taker. He's taken a few for England, and he's always... He does the proper centre-half thing. Pick a top corner and fucking belt it. Because even if the keeper guesses the right way, he's not going to get a hand to it. Not a strong enough hand to keep it out. And I've never seen him miss one. I've got... The one thing I think that Harry Maguire can actually do is take a penalty. Bizarrely.
Oh,
He certainly can't fucking defend or run or literally turn around at all. But, you know... You can take a penalty.
Thinking about this one then.
I don't know, mate.
It's a lottery, innit? You might surprise us. I hope he does.
It's a lottery. Come on, Lindelof. Come on, please. Come on.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's a mad decision, that, you know.
Oh, we got
it's a mad one now.
Taking penalties.
It's a mad one. It is.
It's a mad one.
Got Xerxes. That's a mad one, that, lads. Seems a bit bizarre, that.
It's a mad one, that.
It's a shit penalty as well, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it is.
You shouldn't be allowed to take those penalties like, oh, Lindelof, what's going on? Why not Xerxes? Why is Lindelof taking a fucking penalty? Why?
They're all saying it.
Is he taking a fucking penalty? It's shit. It's a shit penalty. I'm not interested in a fancy taking one. You fucking shit at them, mate. Why is he taking a penalty? We've got Xerxes and... Why is Lindelof taking...
When the fuck has Harry Maguire missed a penalty? He's missed 3 penalties. Actually, that's not great. Okay. No, he's shit at that as well then. Maybe just the ones I've seen looked okay.
Taking a bloody penalty. That's the mistake.
Look, he's taken penalties at the World Cup, which is like, you think, well, if you don't bottle it at the World Cup, you'll be alright. But 6 out of 9, not great.
Made in 90.
It's not terrible, but it's not great.
6 with Southgate. Oh, I feel like taking one. Sit down, you're a bloody centre-back. There's a reason. Why is Lindelof taking a fucking penalty? Absolute amateurs. Amateurs.
Oh, Lindelof, no way. Oh, I don't want him. Lindelof, his fingers crossed. Please, God. Lindelof takes any misses against... I just knew it. You broken ice man. You ain't no ice man. You melt man. You ain't no ice. I can't believe we used to call him ice man. Really? Get out my club, man.
Oh, shit. Victor Lindelof, no.
Every time.
Victor Lindelof stepping up for us. This is a mad one. Victor? Really? Victor Lindelof? I don't trust Victor Lindelof with this at all. Come on, Victor, lad. Victor Lindelof steps up then. Victor Lindelof! Oh, you fucking absolute complete Swedish meatball IKEA flatbed furniture melt job! You've bottled it, lad! What a fucking shit penalty! Fucking hell! Right at Leno, you complete fucking pudding! Victor Lindelof, you sharter! You can just tell when he stepped up, he's a fucking melt, this kid. You shat it, Victor, lad.
You sharter.
Right at Leno...
Oh, Victor, man. Oh, please. Please, Lindelof, man. Please, Lindelof. Brother, bruv, I'm tired of these penalty shootouts, you know. I feel like I've seen way too many of them recently, blood. This is bollocks. Oh, he's missed you. Oh, my fucking days, blood. You fucking scrub, man. Oh, my days, brother. Why the fuck is Lindelof taking a penalty anyway, bruv? Oh, my days, bruv. Nah, we're going out, blood. We're going out, man.
Why is Lindelof taking a penalty before Garnacho?
Scrub.
Saved. Fucking Lindeloful, man. Unbelievable. Why is fucking Lindelof taking a penalty, period?
It's a fair question.
Especially ahead of Garnacho, man.
Why is the manager allowing him to take a penalty? Why is that a thing? He's fucking shit. I know he's a new manager, but he's shit. You know he's shit. He's had a shit. He's fucking shit. He's done a shit one. He's done a shit all over the floor.
Crazy.
Okay, so we got the next penalty. It's only, this is the last one now. Okay. So your man steps up, scores, and then Xerxes steps up.
They did score in the third round shootout at the Emirates. Must now do so again. And it's saved by Leno. And Fulham
Not great
are into the last 8 of the FA Cup.
Not great
and the 13-time winners and holders, Manchester United, are out.
Hilarious.
Xerxes has to score. Otherwise we're out. Missed it. And we're out. Fulham win on penalties. Absolute shit. Absolute shit. Well, Manchester United's FA Cup defence is over. 4-3 on penalties. Missed 2. Victor Lindelof, Joshua Xerxes, and we're out. Well, about that route into Europe then, folks, yeah?
Joshua Xerxes steps up. Joshua Xerxes! Oh, fucking hell, he's missed it, mate! It's a good save by Leno! And Manchester United are dumped out the FA Cup 5th round by fucking Fulham! And Old Trafford, they fucking let us down again! Ah! They've always let us down, these fucking bloody little mugs! Oh, piss it! No, it wasn't a mug. I just kicked the chair and loads of stuff for special everybody. Don't worry about it, Mrs. P. Sorry. I'm not handing you the mugs, Mrs. P. I'm not going to break the mugs, Mrs. P. I'll give you a fucking mug. No, I don't want to break that, actually. Mrs. P will go spare. We are just bottle job.
Fucking domestic just kicked off. Brilliant.
Aren't we?
Amazing.
Oh, my God. You fucking crumble, boys. You've crumbled, boys. Bunch of fucking Billy bottle jobs all game long. Once again, sharting it for us. Fucking losers we have in this team, Big Styly. Chris says, break a mug, you soft ass. Here's a £5 to replace it. I feel fucking much better now, mate. Thank you so much there, Chris. I feel much...
Okay. He's got bare feet. We saw that. And now he's got shards of ceramics all over his fucking floor. Okay. I do hope you've got slippers on hand, friend.
Better now, boss. Don't worry about it. That one. That fucking one there. It doesn't matter. You don't mind that one. You don't like that one that much. It's fine. No, I'm going to clean that up, Mrs. P. I'll clean it up.
And Xerxes misses as well. Fuck off. Fuck off. Absolute cretins. Absolute twats. Shit penalties. Those last 2 penalties were fucking awful.
They were.
That Lindelof penalty. I mean, look, people are going to miss a penalty. You're going to miss a penalty, but that Lindelof one is inexcusable. We've played for 2 hours in a game. 2 fucking hours to try and win this game. We go to penalties and we basically choose vibes over technicality. You don't play for 2 hours and waste everybody's fucking time to get a centre-back who's barely
To be fair, someone paid him to do that. Like, if you give me £5 and say, oh, you should smash a thing, yeah, okay, because you were paying to replace it. So, like, yeah, cool, whatever.
This season going, I'll take one, Gaffer. I'll take one. You know, no. This is like our whole season in a moment.
No, I've got what I want to be the next raid alert for, sound alert for the raids, which is a clip from an audiobook I listened to about the Second World War. And the guy's like, he's against Hitler, right? He's a guy called William Shirer, who was like a journalist at the time who worked in Berlin. He was an American. It's a very good book, except because of his religiosity, he's also quite homophobic, which is why that his history books have sort of fallen by the wayside in recent years. Anyway, and in one of them, he said the phrase, what was it? Notorious homosexual perverts is a phrase he uses to describe a couple of the leading Nazis. And so I want to clip out that bit of notorious homosexual perverts as the sound alert and make that the raid, because that would be fucking fun.
I've got to turn now to
Lewis Goodall gets rid. Oh no, that's already next. 255. Thank you. You like history? Shut the fuck up, Cather. Shut up.
We need European football. We need European football, and we're going, I'll take one, Gaffer FC. Oh, I've kicked a ball before. I'll do it.
We can't rely on Onana, boys. It's over. Xerxes needs to score to keep us alive, though. Like, you got Xerxes, you got Cheeto, you got Garnacho, you got actual fours that could have took a penalty. And it's saved, and it's over, and we're out. That's how it goes, boys. That's how it goes. That's a tough one, man. I can't believe I just sat through all that bullshit just for us to go out like that.
To be fair, his accent is from further away. At least the West Country is the west of this country. You know? I think he's Canadian, which is... I mean, it used to be part of Britain, and then selfishly it wanted some independence. Rubbish.
Xerxes pen. Alright, Jay-Z, man. At least just bins this anyway, bro. Oh, he's missed as well. Fucking hell. Alright, we're done, bro. I can't believe this. Hey, I can't believe this. Oh, bro, we are in hell, blood. We are in hell, bruv. Oh, my days, bruv. One more game this week and our season could be over, blood. It could be over, blood. Oh, my days. We are finished, bruv. I can't believe it, bruv.
Who's this Xerxes? If we lose this, we've lost. Too much pressure, you'll miss it. Come on, he's alright.
They don't even expect it anymore. They don't even expect to win. Love it.
Come on, mate, don't miss. Come on. You scored your last one. Go on.
Aren't you owned by a Yank Trump? Well, no, to be fair, Tom Brady is a very minor investor in well, I say a minor investor in, what are they called? I can't even fucking remember. The company that owns the club, yeah.
Oh my god. Fucking hell. Wowzers. Shite. Lost. Unbelievable.
But he turns up like twice a season.
Fucking hell.
United out.
Yeah.
FA Cup.
We're just so
that's mental,
pathetic,
innit?
aren't we? We're just such a pathetic team.
Oh, Sexy misses we're out. We lost.
I love his leftist audio.
We are done. We are out of the FA Cup. We lost on penalty. Oh, fuck this shit, man. I'm out. I am out. Fucking hell, Lindelof and Xerxes. Fuck both of you, man. Suck yourself, man. Oh.
Suck yourself. Talking of people who suck themselves, defenders of Vladimir Putin and Trump.
I've got to turn now to, as promised, to Dr. Jan Halper-Hayes, former Global Vice President of Republicans Overseas, as advisor to Donald Trump's 2017 transition team. Dr. Halper-Hayes, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Do you understand why so many in this country and in Europe more generally would have seen what happened in the Oval Office as an attempt to
This is the crazy bitch that was on fucking Question Time.
humiliate President Zelensky and be repulsed by it?
Well, if they watched all 53 minutes, then I don't think they would have that feeling. If they saw clips of it, which of course will be clips of J.D. Vance and Trump being very angry with Zelensky, then of course they would come to that.
Could you imagine President Trump speaking to...
So hang on. So they're literally doing the thing, well, the other 40 minutes of it were fine, actually. That's literally your fucking take on this. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Well, if you ignore all of the people I didn't murder, and you only focus on the 7 that I did, then yeah, I'm a murderer.
say President Putin in that way? And isn't it precisely the point that he wouldn't, that is part of the problem?
Well, if President Putin pushed him the way Zelensky pushed Trump,
what did Zelensky? Yeah, what the fuck did Zelensky do? Tell you what fucking Luigi did, though. Pipe on the reg. Alleged insurance CEO killer Luigi Mangione made 20 porn tapes. You already knew he fucked, though, right? Look at him. You know this man fucked. You know this man laid pipe all the fucking time. And you didn't need to convince me he was fucking awesome, lads. I was already rooting for him. Let's go.
Zelensky do? What did he do that was so egregious in your view?
Well, one is that he started litigating the 2014. He said, "I don't want a ceasefire."
He said he wants peace repeatedly. He just doesn't want it on Russia's terms, which you'll understand because Russia invaded his country.
But he said, "I don't want a ceasefire." He made that comment to Trump.
He said he doesn't want a ceasefire if he knows that Putin is just going to renege on it a couple of months later, which is fair enough, isn't it? Because he's done that repeatedly, you will accept.
Exactly.
No, not exactly. I mean, the point is that, of course, anyone wants a ceasefire, but there's no point having a ceasefire, is there? Which is what Zelensky was saying to Trump, if Putin is just going to renege on it shortly afterwards.
And Trump was saying, how do you really know? I mean, if you're really coming from that position, that no one can guarantee anything. But if you don't...
Right, but you have to have a reasonable expectation that the other side is acting in good faith. And we know repeatedly, time after time after time, that Trump has... Trump has reneged on his fucking deals, but more specifically, that Putin has reneged on his deals. That's it. That's why he doesn't have reasonable faith. He doesn't have trust that Putin will actually stick to it, because they already signed. Russia literally already guaranteed sovereignty and integrity of the borders of Ukraine in 1994 or whenever it was, and the Minsk fucking Accords, which Putin's gone back on. Why the fuck would you expect that any ceasefire he'd stick to? He's the roadblock here. If Putin actually wanted peace, he could just fucking leave. He could just stop the war. It's perfectly within his power to do.
Don't move forward to get something into an agreement and then be able to put the right security.
But what has Putin said that gives you or President Trump any indication at all that he even wants a ceasefire? Putin has said he doesn't want a ceasefire at this point.
Putin is... Look, I'm not here to have an argument because...
I'm not here to answer any of your points. This isn't a discussion. I just want to do propaganda. Why are you asking me difficult questions that you know I can't answer? Because I'm just a propagandist trying to defend the absolutely 100% indefensible, which is currently US state policy. I'm not here to have a discussion. I'm not here to make any semblance of sense. No, I know. I'm here to just lie on behalf of Trump. Can you just let me do that, please?
You clearly have a position that I don't agree with.
What would that be?
So?
What would that position be?
Well,
I mean, we would both agree, wouldn't we, for a start, that Putin started the war?
Yeah, what I would say is that Putin legally violated international law.
Right.
Morally, he thought he was right, and strategically...
But you would agree that morally he was wrong?
I know I would not agree morally.
Because you're scum. Yeah, we know.
He was wrong. I would agree legally he was wrong.
You would agree, you would not think that a man who literally, as we speak, still sends drone attacks to kill Ukrainian civilians is morally wrong?
Oh, and you think that Ukraine isn't doing anything to the Russians?
Ukraine didn't invade Russia. Russia invaded Ukraine. That you wouldn't agree that was morally wrong?
Okay, all right. You know what? That is 3 years ago.
Right.
But they haven't left. That didn't stop. You can't do that was ages ago, as if they've changed their position. They're still there. Honestly, this is the worst thing about having to deal with Trump people. Why do we have to take this seriously? Why the fuck do we have to take fucking fetid trash? These vermin fucking pseudo people. Why do we have to take them seriously? That was 3 years ago. So, they're still fucking there. They're still doing it. It's happening now as we speak. What a piece of fucking trash.
If we were sat in 1942, would you have been on the radio going, "Look, don't worry about it. Hitler invaded Poland 3 years ago"?
Yes, you would have.
You know what?
Yes.
I didn't sign on for this hypothetical discussion.
It's not hypothetical. I'm just trying to tease out the logic of what you're saying, Dr. Halper Hayes.
Where is her doctorate from, and what fucking awful fucking doctorate mill is it? Because if it's a serious school, they need to fucking revoke that shit, because she is not holding up the fucking intellectual standards of a proper seat of learning. This is grotesque.
One is that James Baker and Thatcher and Mitterrand and Kohl, etc., had promised that NATO would not move 1 inch eastward, and that was violated.
What? Oh, so you're just doing State Department? You're just doing Kremlin lines now? Literally, the most amazingly obvious one I've seen, right, is Elon Musk, who tweeted out something about the Crimea and then in brackets Khrushchev's mistake, which is a thing that only Russian operatives say. Only Russian operatives say that. Because that's, by the way, how the redistricting of having the Crimean Peninsula taken from what was then the Russian Soviet Socialist Republic, and for obvious administrative reasons, because it's literally attached to Ukraine, putting it as part of the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic, which is why when they then parted ways at the end of the Cold War, Ukraine had Crimea, and that happened under Khrushchev. So literally only Russian obsessives, only Russian operatives ever say, oh, it was Khrushchev's massive mistake. Elon Musk is absolutely in the pocket of the Putinist regime. He is a Kremlin operative and a traitor to the United States. Simple as that.
Those
so
countries.
you want to look at all the different people that violated their agreement?
When did America start basically just sort of representing what Moscow thinks? Those countries wanted to be part of the NATO club. Your club. Are you saying that they should never have been allowed to exercise their democratic and sovereign rights as nations and join that club?
Oh, God. You know what? I don't like having my words twisted. No. I really don't.
You don't like... Well, but that's the point of it.
That's literally what you did. It's literally what you fucking said. That by moving east, they broke their promises to the Soviet Union, a nation that doesn't even fucking exist anymore.
Interview, isn't it, is to discuss what you're saying, and I'm just asking you. You're saying, with respect, Doctor, I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. You're saying that those countries should never have been allowed to join NATO, and then we wouldn't have been in this situation. And I'm saying to you that surely those countries should have been allowed.
I didn't say that. Well, see, that's why. No. Hold on a minute.
But you cited what happened in the. So you're saying that it's fine for them to join NATO then?
I didn't say any of those things, and I don't like.
Well, what is your actual fucking position then? Should they have been allowed to join or not? Oh, God, she's an idiot. She's a fucking idiot.
Someone tries to give words and interpret without understanding. I'm done. Okay. I'm off. I don't like you.
Okay, well, that's fine, Dr.
I don't like you. Brilliant.
Hayes, maybe some of the listeners won't like you, but that's fine. I'm entirely indifferent to that. I'm very grateful for your time. Dr. Jan Halper-Hayes.
She literally she rage quit. She fucking rage quit. She lost the argument and rage quit. Honestly, we've got the internet blood sports. We've got the literal internet blood sports presidency. She ran away. She got fucking owned in the free marketplace of ideas, and she shat herself and ran away. Incredible. Incredible.
Is there former global vice president of Republicans overseas? Apparently, I'm not going to be on her Christmas card list. Maybe I will be with Oliver in Harlesden, though. Oliver.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Hello, Malachi. You should hit the follow button. You should.
Good afternoon. Good morning. Still, just about.
Good morning. What a disrespectful, low life leader is Mr. Zelensky. Oh my God, this guy.
A low life. What? He's been bravely leading his country for 3 years, Oliver.
Okay, listen. I'm going to be very quick here. I'm not going to be as technical as you or the other listener. Listen, you go into America.
We got him. Victory is ours.
You're not even bothered to wear suits. You just go with that.
Come on.
Oh God, he's literally doing. He wasn't wearing a suit. He wasn't wearing a suit. Elon Musk doesn't wear a suit. Well, except if you classify the child he uses as a kind of bulletproof vest, that's a kind of a suit, I guess. It's a protection jacket of sorts for him, that small child. Yeah, but other than that, he doesn't wear a suit. He wears the same shirt that says tech support or Occupy Mars and that dopey fucking hat of his. So, you know. But apparently that's fine. Also, Churchill, when he went there, he wore his... I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a military... like a kid's romper suit. It's almost a fucking onesie. Have we got... Hang on, I'll see if I can find a picture of that. Here we go. Boom. Right. Hang on a minute. Look, I don't even know how to really describe this thing. It's like a... Like I say, it's a kind of military kind of romper suit thing. Fatigues thing, and it's kind of like a onesie or some shit. That's the White House, by the way. That's when he went to the White House. That's him at the White House. But no one went, how disrespectful, Churchill, you fucking prick. Because as dumb as those times were, they weren't anywhere near as pathetically dumb as the ones we currently live in. Yeah. Fucking embarrassing. But he didn't
come
wear
on.
a
So you're
suit.
saying that when are you saying when Winston Churchill visited the White House in the 1940s, he should have worn a suit?
Okay, listen.
Does that matter?
Okay, listen. He's going to see the most powerful leader on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so was Churchill. And? It's a boiler suit. It's not. It's a onesie. It's a military onesie. He's doing Slipknot cosplay. True. He's ahead of his time, the lad. You could argue that his military strategy was to wait and bleed, but that wouldn't make any fucking sense.
Oh, come on, have some respect. And the way he went on in the video, he was so disrespectful.
What about Elon Musk? Elon Musk don't wear a suit in the White House. Doesn't seem to matter to Donald Trump.
I'm not talking about Elon Musk.
Well, no, but you're the one.
Yeah, I know you're not. You're talking shit. Yeah, I know. We're fully aware of that, champ. He was the most human-looking person in that room. Well, Zelensky was the most human-looking person in the room because I think he was the only actual human in the room. There were some like lizard alien creatures in there with him, but yeah.
But said, no, please, please don't stop. Please. Let me finish, please. He's going to see Trump, the most powerful leader of the planet, and he went off about small details.
Is the president of the United States so petty that he would genuinely have a massive row with someone? If he was really committed, if he thought that Ukraine had justice on its side, are we really saying that the president of the United States and the vice president are so petty that they'll let it all just get out of hand just because of what the president of Ukraine is wearing?
I was about to say, when he said he was going to the most powerful leader in the world, I was thinking, he didn't go to Beijing. What are you talking about? I didn't see Winnie the Pooh anywhere. Strange.
Can I finish my statement, please?
Well, no, I'm just asking you a question.
Please? Yeah, but no, you're not asking me because you just talk over me, sir.
No,
I'm finishing.
Because you're full of shit.
You're saying something ridiculous, so, you know.
Oh, my. Yeah, okay. You're bully. Oh, my goodness, you're unprofessional.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Oh, I tell you what, can we get through 3 calls now without someone hanging up?
No. Fuck you. Anyway. Adam something. There's only one way to defeat Trump. Shall we find out that way? Shall we?
The world has changed a lot in the past few weeks through the bizarre events unfolding in America, culminating on the 28th of February when Zelensky was hosted in the Oval Office, only to be yelled at and berated by the president and vice president, and also openly mocked for not wearing a suit by Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, who was also there for some reason.
What was your second question? My second question for President Zelensky. Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting.
I don't have such.
This spectacle was as amusing as it was horrifying. The US president and vice president, supposedly the leaders of the free democratic world, in control of the most powerful military force on the planet and the largest economy, yelling and bickering at the leader of a nation under attack by Russia, publicly in front of cameras in the Oval Office. Many people are attempting to analyze this situation, rationalize it. What were Trump and Vance playing at? Was this a trap deliberately set? What kind of backwards 4D chess move was this from the Trump administration? In my opinion, these attempts at analysis are fine, but I think I have an easier method of making sense of the situation. Now please keep in mind these are only my preliminary thoughts, and I didn't have the time yet to flesh them out properly. But due to how quickly everything is changing, I've decided to make this video.
Do any of the Trump people look like actual people? They're all very weirdly shaped in their own unique configuration of mutantness. They're all very odd. They're all very odd.
Anyway, so you tell me if the following makes sense to you. As far as I can see, the Trump administration's behavior can be explained by 3 interacting internal forces. These are fascist, corporatist, and incompetent. The fascist wing contains all the far-right lunatics, your neo-Nazis, Christian fascists, and so on. Their ideal world is that of 1950s vacuum cleaner commercials. Mom, dad, suburbs, 2.5 children, all white neighborhoods, which they want to bring about through a LARPy traditional conservative dictatorship. To them, democracy, free speech, speech, freedom of religion, and so on are just tools to exploit to the aforementioned end, and they will throw away all those ideals the second they no longer need to pretend to love them. The corporatist wing contains your wannabe oligarchs, people who want to turn the US into a corporation with a government attached, basically, an unregulated playpen for billionaires where they can do whatever they want. Corporatists seek...
Isn't it already that? Isn't it literally already that?
To subvert the government, then replace its functions, thereby becoming the de facto government themselves. For more details, see the cyberpunk genre as a whole. And then we have the incompetent wing, which is mostly Trump and his ego. Trump is emotional, rather unintelligent, and a narcissist. He's basically a massive liability for the fascists and corporatists, but Trump also happens to be the face of their movement. Without Trump, there is no MAGA. There is no enacting Project 2025, and there is no turning America into an oligarchy.
Well, no, to be fair,
so
they could enact 2025 with just a regular-ass Republican. I think the likes of Mitt Romney would be happy to do Project 2025. It's just that nobody wants Mitt Romney. Not even Mrs. Mitt Romney. In fact, especially not her.
Have to put up with him. They can control him to some extent, but sometimes Trump will just go his own way no matter what. Trump's incompetence also trickles down the ranks in a way, since they hire people based on loyalty to Trump, not skill. This creates a sort of weird, swaying, dead weight within the system, like water sloshing around inside a ship's hull, making it prone to wild, unexpected swings for seemingly no reason. So this would be incompetence, the wild card of the three wings. And appealing to just one at a time will not work. Keir Starmer has recently visited the US, where he put on a frankly embarrassing performance of...
It really was fucking humiliating. Degraded, debased himself and the nation at the same time. Thanks, ham boy.
Bootlicking and groveling.
Said what I said, which is that we do have, of course, a special relationship with our friends in the UK and also with some of our European allies, but we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British, of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American...
Is it? Doesn't seem that way.
...technology companies and by extension American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch.
Well, we've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time. Well, no, I mean, certainly we wouldn't want to reach across US citizens, and we don't, and that's absolutely right.
Trying his absolute...
Oh, God, you absolute cockwash.
...best to suck up to Trump. Did it work? Not really. Why? Because Starmer tried appealing to the incompetence, not the fascism or corporatism. Zelensky floated the mineral deal to Trump early on. Help us and we'll make some of our rare earth metals available to you. Did it work? No. Why? Because Zelensky only appealed to the corporatists, not the fascists or the incompetent. Viktor Orban has been orbiting Trump and his people for almost a decade, trying to posture...
Look, these two are the defenders of the white race, are they? Look at them. Fucking Jesus Christ. Two of the biggest fucking mutants I've ever seen. Freaks. A pair of absolute fucking freaks.
Is a fellow warrior for white civilization, hoping to get political support for his authoritarian project back home. Does it work? No, because Orban only appeals to the fascists, not the corporatists or the incompetent. In order to deal with the Trump administration, you have to appeal to all three wings at the same time. But here's the kicker. If you can offer something meaningful that both fascists, corporatists and the incompetent will favor, if you do something that appeases all three simultaneously, then you will have become indistinguishable from them. You are playing their game. You are in their framework. You will have made a deal with the devil, essentially, with no going back. Notably, Elon Musk is the perfect combination of the three wings, being both fascist, corporatist and incompetent. Not coincidentally, the only person who can appeal nearly perfectly to all three wings at the same time is Vladimir Putin. If you wonder why the Trump administration is so drawn to Russia, this is why. Russia is a dictatorship with sham elections. It leans increasingly heavily into far-right Christian nationalism, where its leader pretends to be a devout believer while also furnishing his palace with striptease poles. Russia is also hyper-capitalist. The owner class below Putin is composed of oligarchs heading large corporations in a system that is essentially legalized carteling and corruption.
Oh, you know, it's the mafia state, yeah.
Fully plugged into the neoliberal world economy, where the dream of all those below the owners, the mid and low-level managerial class, is to hoard enough public money so they can spend their days in a gaudy mansion in Dubai. The Russian...
If you want to buy me a gaudy mansion in Dubai, that I won't do that, regardless of how much money. But if you wanted to help me get a car, because my other one got fucking wrote off in a crash, wankers, Hopefully the insurance will cover most of it, but whatever. In case that doesn't happen, you can do bits messages, you can do subs, you can become a member, you can do super chats. We've also got Patreon and PayPal if you wanted to be more direct with the money. That is also a possibility. Yeah. Russia as well as the Gringo are private states. What's this with the Gringo-ness tonight? You moved to the whitest country on earth, have I? Don't get me wrong, it's fine, but I'm just saying. You went to the most gringo place that exists. Fact.
An elite also knows how to handle incompetent leaders. Putin is used to dealing with tin-pot dictators in their satellite states and easily finds common ground with Trump. He had also received official KGB training on how to deal with authoritarian, narcissistic leaders. Therefore, it is no wonder that the Trump administration and Russia constantly keep gravitating towards each other. So, as the remaining bastions of the free, democratic world, how do you counter this? What do we do? Quite simply, we need to address the systemic issue that gave rise to the Trump.
Yeah, I don't know why you would retire to Dubai particularly, but disgusting people tend to, apparently.
Administration and the most other far-right movements in the West. But what would that be? Well, as they say, it's the economy, stupid. Wealth inequality is rising. The rich get richer while everyone else gets poorer. Prices are up, inflation is up.
Yeah, you're right, Javi. The neoliberal shock treatment done to the Soviet Union was disgusting. Like, fucking life expectancy dropped by like 10 years. It's fucking gross.
Salary isn't. All the while, billionaires' wealth is increasing at a record pace. People are not idiots, and they see all that happening. But they can't always articulate their negative feelings in any coherent political form. So people's negative feelings, the bad vibes if you will, manifest in general anti-elitism and anti-intellectualism, like an extremely high fever that also damages your body, not just the virus inside you. But it doesn't have to be this way. All this anger and desire for change can be channeled into a positive and constructive political movement. Only that specific political movement has been dead for some time in most Western countries. We are talking about leftism, which for many regular people has become an actual slur. Footage of leftist meetings and conferences go viral because of how ridiculous they get.
If we want to defeat capitalism, we are going to need a party that will organize working people to fight for the demands that we want and to win socialism. Thank you so much.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, Com.
I genuinely think people like that. They have to be like state actors, right? Do people don't do that, do they? People don't act like this. I've been to loads of like leftist meetings and stuff. People don't have like people don't behave this way. What the fuck is the DSA, man? No, don't get. I know what the DSA is. I mean, like what? That has to be a fucking CIA operative, right? Surely. Please tell me it is.
Comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against name, chapter, pronoun?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Online leftist spaces.
Who did? They said comrades. They literally said comrades. Is that gendered? I didn't realise that comrades it was a gendered phrase.
Are filled with terminally online young adults engaging in a purity race.
Trump is actually to the left of Biden, the Dems on Ukraine. What the fuck are you talking? Oh, God. This is the thing, right? This is why I've got absolutely no sympathy for the fucking scumbag griftoids out there who are like, oh, leftism was you know, is full of really annoying fucking people. Really, they piss me off all the time. And I'm like, motherfucker, I get pissed off by leftists every day, and I don't change everything I believe based on that. Like, you don't I don't give a fuck if some leftist called you a fucking birthing person or something, like, or said some dumb shit like this. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Deal with it. What, someone said the word bonus hole once but not to you directly, so you changed your economic policies. What? The fuck are you talking about?
To the bottom, where they will excise anyone from the community whom they don't deem enough of a believer. Basically,
NATO and prostitution abolitionist podcast Radfem Pod, graduate of UCL, LSE, supporter of post-liberalism and a multipolar LGB without the T. Oh my god, I've never seen a person I want to terms of service themselves more.
with some exceptions, leftism across the West ceased to be a political movement, and instead became a loose...
I'm not sure that person can count as a leftist, can they? What about them was actually a leftist? Other than being against NATO, I guess? I don't know.
Network of afternoon clubs for socially maladjusted young...
No, sociology professor sharing Uyghur camps as an example of settler colonialism.
adults who think they are better than everyone else. The liberals, those stupid normies, those blue-pilled idiots who fail to realize that North Korea is actually a secret workers' paradise, and also the Holodomor didn't happen, Assad didn't gas his own people, Stalin was based, Trotsky deserved to die, China is socialist.
What the fucking hell? Stalin was a pedophile. Stalin impregnated a 13-year-old girl. He was not some based anti-pederast. He was a pederast, a rapist, a sick individual. Even if we ignore all of the deaths and the murders and stuff, even if we ignore the purging and the curtailment of basic civil dignity and civil respect, civil rights. No, he was also a child rapist. He raped children. Just saying.
The Uyghur concentration camps are Western propaganda, Ukraine is run by Nazis, the Donetsk People's Republic is a bastion against American imperialism, the Soviet Union was democratic, nothing happened in 1956 Budapest or 1968 Prague, and even if something did happen, it was a fight against a fascist counter...
Oh, fucking Syrian girl. She's not a leftist in any respect. She's not a leftist in any possible respect. I'm just saying it now.
Revolution, and so on and so forth. Complete lunacy, an absolute non-starter. The only reason they don't deny the Holocaust is because the people doing it called themselves Nazis instead of communists. Imagine if the National Socialists called themselves the Aryan Communists instead, while also doing the Holocaust. We would have lefties today going, the Holocaust was State Department propaganda.
This is amazing. Hang on, let's have a look at this. So AOC spoke at the DSA, which is a phrase you either understand or you don't. Disgusting that you guys still platform this fascist piece of AOC is fascist. Alexandria Ocasio-Hitler is a fascist, apparently. She routinely falls in line with fascists. Stop smoking crack. Fair point.
While also doing the Holocaust. We would have lefties today going, the Holocaust was State Department propaganda to justify the American Empire's invasion of Europe in order to save their
he is funny.
bourgeoisie.
Is he even still going? Should we have a look? Let's have a look if Caleb Moppin still exists. I kind of hope not. Not Kalen. Caleb Moppin. Because he's French. Apparently he still exists. Okay. Let's have a look. Liberalism versus Government of Action slideshow. Ukrainians attacked me. A chat with Don, the truth conductor. Ukrainian TV is fake news. Jimmy Dore highlights Caleb at the White House. Oh God, he was at the White House. Oh my God. Fucking Peter Coffin. Oh no. Oh no, he's with Peter Coffin.
So we went out to Minneapolis to do just kind of a routine, small workshop that we do in a number of cities. We've done them before, where we get together.
Oh my god, Peter Coffin still exists. How? How are you still a thing?
Have some classes, get to know different members, different friends. Anyhow, we get out there and we see all these crazy signs posted up all over the neighborhood.
Meet Caleb Moppin. He's a cult leader. He's a sex abuser. He's a neo-fascist, and he's coming over for a visit. True, literally true. Caleb is visiting Minneapolis this Saturday to host an event at an Airbnb here in the neighborhood. Join our picket and let him know he's not welcome here.
It's not alert the membership as of yet, right? Because they want a reaction. If they see they're getting a reaction, that'll embolden them, right? We'll just be extra careful with security at the door.
This is the freedom of speech, by the way, they love so much.
But honestly, I don't think we should not do the event. No, I think we should do it. I guess we'll just proceed with our meeting as usual. Okay, so the first thing is that the break time is the most important, right? The break time when we're actually talking to people is the most important time, right? Actually, when I'm speaking and all that, it's not that important. What's important is when we're talking with the people. On Saturday morning, our main concern was the lack of heat. The Airbnb had not turned the heat on, and it was record low temperatures. It was a very, very cold night, so...
You should have moved to Russia. They've got lots of gas there. Caleb.
We're inside the house, and we're figuring we can't really start the workshop until the heat comes on. So then we see them outside.
Burger King! Also, it's pronounced Burger King, please.
It is 8:30 in the morning.
And it's like 20 below zero.
Wow, imagine people having principles that they believe in.
You're gonna wake up the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the neighborhood's gonna hate them.
The house across the street looks abandoned or dilapidated. I don't think they're worried about fascism. They're worried about putting food on the table.
We're worried about getting the heat turned on.
Yes,
It's a little cold here. The heat hasn't been turned on in our Airbnb.
And these guys start preemptively gloating that no
Co-director of the Centre for Political Innovation. Oh, how the nut mighty have fallen. Honestly, this is more embarrassing than kicking yourself in the dick on TV. I think he did.
nobody is showing up.
No, we expected to be like turning the attendees away. This is amazing. It seems like no one is coming. Wow.
Not knowing that we literally don't have heat and we're not gonna start the thing without heat. It was actually like a solid hour after
they don't know we're so incompetent that we can't organise an event.
They left before we
Wow, what a W.
got the heat, and then we had people start coming. Well, actually, I take that back. There was one gentleman they did get to try to intimidate out of attending, a disabled gentleman, which, you know, that's cool.
Oh, wow. I mean, when you say intimidate, it's a picket line. It's not intimidation. It's saying, please don't cross this picket line, right? Also, don't do your identity politics with me. Don't you fucking try that liberal ID poll bullshit with me, boy. I don't give a fuck if he's disabled or not. He was asked not to cross a picket line. Should he be given, what, preferential treatment? On what basis? How does his disability affect any of that? Like, was Coffin Sean Head's boyfriend back in the day? Get some help. I don't think Coffin was Pete. No, you've got that mixed up completely with somebody else. Thank you, Kieran Saunders, with 37 months. The only time I am a sub. Fair enough, Kieran. Fair enough. If someone else does a thing now, then we can get on the hype train. If you wanted to do that, but, you know. Yeah. Remember when Yankee Tanky tried to debate you on Stalin? That was something. That was amazing. I literally, one of the highlights of my existence on Earth, or at least my existence on YouTube, was him singing Angloid, you're a fucking Angloid. Honestly, it's the best. Oh, it's so fucking funny. I kind of want to go back and watch that. Maybe I'll look for it later. Well, Sister Rose, by the way, everyone go and follow Sister Rose. Hello. It was literally from the Adam something video that got me onto like, oh, Caleb Moppin, he still exists, does he? Which led me to this. So in many respects, you're being jump scared by Caleb Moppin from the same source twice.
Shouted at him, "Don't go in there, they'll rape you."
He attended though.
That they definitely said he'll rape you. Of course, I definitely believe that. I imagine everyone in chat also believes that. Yeah, surely. Why would he lie? Why would Caleb Moppin, a Stalinist, lie about anything? I trust him. They definitely said, "Don't go in there, they'll rape you." Cool. Very cool, very normal.
He was not scared of them.
Hello, Gabby.
So when you said he was intimidated by them, that was a lie. You know, when you said earlier, literally like 30 seconds earlier in the video, they intimidated a disabled man? They didn't do that, did they? What they did was hand a disabled man a piece of paper and treat him like a normal person. I say normal, that's not a nice way of putting it. A non-disabled person, an able-bodied person. And then he went on his way. It's fine. What did they do that was remotely incorrect here? Like, you can disagree with them. You can think, well, my group's awesome. But they disagree with that. They disagree with that group. So what did they do that was, like, morally wrong here? Thank you, Elliot, with Bitty Bits. But I think it has to be 100 bits in order for us to get on the hype train. But I appreciate the 95 bits. You were almost there. Democrats plan to protest Trump's speech by wearing pink. Oh, no. Oh, they're not doing this again, are they? Is this from today or recently? I can't see a date on it. It just says 4:10 p.m. What the fuck is that? So is that from today or what? Oh yeah, for the blue in Ukraine. Okay, right. So yeah, they are. The Democrats are fucking shit. I'm sorry, they just are. They're fucking awful. The Democrats plan to protest Trump's speech by wearing pink. Well, that'll definitely stop the fascism, I'm sure. Yeah. They'll definitely wear the fascism. The fascism has been defeated, everybody. We can go home. Job done. Honestly, they will look fabulous in their pink dresses in the cattle trucks alongside me. I'll look like a slob, because I won't even be dressed in pink. But we'll both be in the cattle trucks on the way to the concentration camps, the MAGA concentration camps. Or as they'll be called, X camps, because Elon Musk will be running them for profit, obviously. Yeah, they'll look absolutely stunning, I'm sure. Awesome.
I've seen you. I've seen you. Can we see what they gave you?
Hello.
Can we see what they gave you?
Morning, this is a cult. Press TV. Oh, wow. It's Dugan.
Press TV.
Oh, man. Linda LaRouche. And your name's on here, too.
Really?
Yeah.
What? My favorite.
Yeah, because you're all fucking fascist scum. Yeah. Kev, the bits was about something I sent you in the Discord live, was it? Hi Kev, I just put a few pics on live about a tanky trying to justify the Russian invasion through an IMF loan if you want to read. Thank you, Elliot. I will take a look at that.
Burger King.
Oh, we're not... Oh, Sister Rose, God bless you, but no, I can't do that. No, I can't inflict that on people again.
Right? You're a failed political candidate and dedicated follower of Caleb Moppin's. We're inside and laughing about it. The whole thing just looked completely insane. At 8:30 in the morning, in record cold temperatures, you have 15 kids out there wearing COVID masks with signs about...
But the COVID... So he's a COVID conspiracy theorist as well? You really are unbelievable, Caleb Moppin. They're in COVID masks. It could also just be that their fucking faces are cold as well. It could just be a mask in general. It doesn't have to be specifically for COVID. But even though it is, like, okay, some of them are wearing the COVID mask. This guy's just got a black thing over his face. His face is cold. But regardless of that, also loving the sign that says spank fascism. Okay. Can someone contact this gentleman, one of the fine denizens of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and find, because I need the spank fascism. I need that as an emote. That needs to happen. Okay? That needs to happen. It needs to have already happened. Fact.
Spanking and fascism and cults. I mean, the whole thing just had to look completely insane.
Caleb, if you say spanking and fascism one more time, you're probably going to come, aren't you? Like, you really, you're on the edge. You're edging yourself right now, aren't you? You're literally teasing yourself.
Hey.
What are they saying?
Robin runs the CPI. He's a weird little guy.
One of the chants that they had, which I absolutely loved, was Caleb owns CPI. He's a weird little guy.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. It's accurate, and it's a fun little rhyme. He does own CPI, and he is a weird little guy. I don't think you can deny that any of those things.
The return of the sausages.
This doc isn't asking the key question. Where is Mohawk Lincoln?
Where the fuck is Mohawk Lincoln? What happened to Mohawk Lincoln? It needs to happen, yes. Thank you, Kieran, with 200 bits. Again, if someone else gives money now, we get on the hype train, and I will finger Donald Trump. I will. I've given you that guarantee, chat. And between you and I, we could do it. Sister Rose, I do hope you YouTube poop that, because that is... It's gold. It's gold content. I had no inkling, no even fucking half idea to watch Caleb Moppin tonight. Not a chance. But Adam something has inspired me. I needed to get back in touch with my Caleb Moppin side, by which I mean laughing at a creepy little guy who owns CPI, and he probably owns CP. I as well. So it's, you know, it's fine. It's fine. I'm surprised you didn't take more issue with Adam acting like woke skulls and tankies represent the entirety of the left. Well, I'm going to wait and see what he actually says, like whether that's the full thing or not. I'll have to wait and see. We're not even, well, we are over halfway through now, but I'll allow his argument to breathe, you know? Gonna allow him the time.
The CPI, he's a weird little guy.
They're calling you weird, dancing around with signs that no one understands.
Now, I thought that was very funny.
And by the way, don't...
Yeah, he thought it was so funny. Honest, guys. He's not even crying about it at all. No, he thought it was so funny that he decided to film it and to repeat it to tell you that he definitely isn't. He definitely isn't angry about that, and you shouldn't write in the paper that he's angry, because he's not angry, so it's fine. Fingering Trump might be hard as Kia lives there. That is true, but I will do it if we get on the hype train, and you can make me get onto the hype train in the form of bits, subscriptions, gifted subs. You can subscribe with Amazon Prime as well. You can. If you've got Amazon, which, you know, it might be a thing you do. I don't know.
Don't you find some of their stuff to just be plain weird?
At one point, Peter Coffin...
Hang on. Did he insert that to be like, oh, they're all just like Kamala? Kamala said this thing was weird. Is that it? Is that literally the connection that's being made there? That's amazing. What an idiot.
Walked out among the protesters. I immediately thought of the scene in The Wizard of Oz.
Wow, they're so intimidating, these people, that Peter Coffin went out there on his own and it was fine. Nothing happened to him. He was absolutely fine. So, you know, earlier we were saying they were intimidating people? They were trying to go to the... So he lied. He just drove... Who would... Imagine that. A Stalinist. Not misaligned. That's not the word I'm looking for. Lied. Just lied. Straight up. Told a falsehood. A knowing and intentional falsehood. About a situation that they fucking filmed to show everybody. At least Stalin used to fake his evidence. He used to, like, erase someone from the picture or something. You're just literally showing us that the thing you said was a lie. Well done.
Where Dorothy wakes up.
CPI's occult. Predatory Penny Arcos. Get your numbers under false pretenses. What? What the fuck does that... Hang on. What does that mean? Can anyone translate that for me? Predatory Penny Arcos got your numbers under false pretenses. I genuinely don't know what the fuck that means. I get the CPI is a cult, true and factual. Oh, is that supposed to be pervy? No, that fourth letter is not a V. That's an N. That is definitively an N. And that the third letter might be a U, but even then it's what, Piuni? Piuni? What the fuck does that word mean? I don't think it's... Well, that's a very weird way of putting pervy, because that's not a fucking N. Sorry, that's not a V, it's an N, isn't it? And what's Arcos? Got your numbers under false pretenses? I don't know what the fuck that means.
And she's walking among the munchkins.
Come out, come out.
Motherfucker, you don't get to talk about munchkins. You're the weird little guy. You're the weird little guy. You don't get to do the munchkin line. You little scamp. You little ragamuffin.
Wherever you are.
Because they were all like really short in
Well, apart from, I mean, this guy's above him. Now, he might be that he's on the grass and that Peter isn't, but like, that guy's taller than Peter. Genuinely, he's so fucking stupid. Penny Arcos is a name. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know who Penny Arcos is. It doesn't matter anyway. But like, literally, he's saying, oh, these people are all really short. And the only person you can actually tell is literally above Peter. He's taller. At least according to this footage. Like I say, it might be that Peter Coffin is in the road and this guy's standing on the curb or whatever, but like, yeah, I'm mad. Whatever.
Comparison to him. And it made me think that the guy on the bullhorn or one of the people that had thought of that chant, they must have been called a weird little guy at some point in their life.
Hasn't everyone been called weird at some point or whatever? Like, isn't that just a thing that has happened to every person? Okay. Yeah, cool. You are a weird little guy, Caleb Muppin. I don't know what to tell you, mate.
Out of touch. You think CPUSA would be a viable force to put together a picket like this? It's amazing.
They were on the bullhorn talking about communist inside baseball.
Colt, I mean, you started in the RCP, so it's used to Colt. That was or a joke.
Did he say that the CPUSA put this together? Hang on. I've got to go back.
It's amazing.
They were
say would be a viable force
at some point in their life.
You're so out of touch. You think CPUSA would be a viable force to put together?
Oh no, he's saying that the CPUSA wouldn't be a viable force to do this. Okay, cool. So what Caleb/Peter, whoever is behind the camera that this person is talking to, accused them of being from the CPUSA, the Child Porn USA or whatever, the Hazes group. But they're not, apparently. Because Hazes group love fascism. They're not so keen on spanking, at least not publicly, but they are very much pro-fascism. Yeah. How much did Russia pay you? That's a good question. How much did Russia pay him? I don't know. He's just a weird little guy, man. He's just a weird little guy, you know? Come on.
A picket like this is, it's amazing.
They were on the bullhorn talking about communist inside baseball.
Colt, I mean, you started in the RCP, so it's used to Colt.
Gospels were a joke even to trots.
No, we're trying to show you we care enough to tell you guys what's going on here. We want you guys to get out of the cult. We're trying to show you we care enough.
Okay,
no, we're trying to show.
Don't poke him in the head. That's not okay.
We care enough to tell you guys what's going on here. We want you guys to get out of the cult.
We are going to have some fun with them, but we don't want to be too mean to them because there's a lot of people in this organization around.
What's on that board? Million Working March Economism. Ron Paul. Pro-growth populist perspective, and then underlined lumpen. I want to know what the fuck what was said. Is he pro Ron Paul? Hang on, that's so it's behind the thing. Is he pro Ron Paul? I don't know. I'm fascinated though. Lumpen. Stalinists never changed, do they? You're just too stupid to understand my clever thinky ideas.
The country, and I'm not going to violate anyone's private business, but more than a handful of people that have joined CPI, they've told me why they joined CPI. And they said, Caleb, you know, I was in these communist circles, I was in my 20s, and I was using drugs. I rock bottom, you know,
I was using drugs. And then I thought to myself, I want to be in a sex cult, not a drug cult.
I screwed up, I did something wrong, and, you know, I had to go into recovery. And I realized that if I was going to get over my addiction, I couldn't keep thinking in the pessimistic, dark, hopeless way that seems to accompany communist politics in America. I had to be optimistic. And I suddenly started hearing you, and you were the only...
He is a weird little guy. I just, you know what? I've never heard a better description of him. We need to watch a little bit more of our little weird guy, don't we? I think here on the channel, a little bit more, little weird guy.
Communist I could stand to listen to anymore. You were the only one that was putting out a hopeful, optimistic message that wasn't tearing people down, that wasn't preaching resentment.
Mate, this entire video is, oh, look at these dickheads outside with their bullhorn and their stupid signs. Look how small they are. I'm not a weird little guy. Yeah, he's not tearing anyone down.
Oiled like a baby otter.
Very optimistic. I can feel the warmth, the human love coming from the video, Caleb. Lovely stuff.
I believe there were people out there that are in that same category. Do you know what I honestly believe deep in my soul? I believe that there were people out there today that will eventually join CPI.
I really don't think they will. I don't think many people go from, this is a weird rapist cult, to, I want to join the weird rapist cult run by the little weird guy.
Like a baby otter.
You know, it's not usually the thing. Thank you, Fulmar Music, with 5 gifted memberships. Much fucking love to you. Penny Arcos is a MAGA wannabe politician. Okay.
Oiled like a baby otter.
I'm going to let that play out. Penny Arcos, Minnesota House of Representatives, District 63A, Republican Party. What's she got to do with it, though? What?
Oiled like a baby otter.
And now we're going to bring up another tremendous member.
So hang on a minute. Whoa. Okay. It starts to make a little bit more sense. So Penny Arcos is a real person. She is in the Minnesota State Legislature. And of course, she spoke at the Center for Political Innovation. So the GOP representative spoke in front of a sign of a sex abuser society with Kim Jong-un. Just a random bit of Kim Jong-un memorabilia. Okay, I mean, I think I've seen it all now. I think I've seen it all. It's beautiful. Fucking freaks. He's such a weird little guy, isn't he?
Let me just put it this way. You can never say that the Center for Political Innovation or myself or Peter, you can never say that we're irrelevant. The fact that we...
I think you absolutely can say that. Because you literally are. Literally, until I saw your face on that video, I literally didn't even know. You could have been dead, Caleb. You and Peter Coffin could have both died. I didn't know. I had no idea what you were up to, that you even still existed. You are of supreme irrelevance. Complete and utter irrelevance. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's just a weird little guy. He's a weird little guy.
Had a small meetup, was so important to some people. They woke up on Saturday morning, went out in freezing cold temperatures, and made a huge ruckus to tell everyone just how upset they were about the fact that we exist and we continue to do our
No, that you're an abuser. That you abuse people.
work. You know, we were ready to defend ourselves.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh. Whilst you were out there getting pussy, I was studying the blade. But in this case, the blade was made of pine. Jesus Christ. He's such a weird little guy. He's a look. He's a weird little guy. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. Fucking beautiful. Fucking hell.
But they weren't a threat to us at all. They were kind of embarrassing, and they were kind of clowns. And I'm embarrassed for whatever organization let this happen, was involved in making it happen. And I'm also embarrassed for the people that did this protest.
He's not mad. He's not mad. He's just a weird little guy.
Because you were out there making fools out of yourselves while we were inside talking about the serious issues and how to change the future of our country, how to fight against imperialism, globalism, how to fight for working families. So yeah, certainly an interesting trip to Minneapolis. I'm glad we were there, and yeah, we're going to do a lot more workshops, let me put it that way.
I'm glad you were there too, Caleb, because you are such a lol cow. It hurts. It hurts. Anyway, continuing.
The Allies were fascists who destroyed based Germany only because they were building communism with German characteristics and dared to oppose the class of capitalistic parasites ruining German socialism with
communism with German characteristics. Very much so.
National characteristics from within. This sounds ridiculous, but this is exactly what they say about the Soviets, Stalin's ethnic purges, and the gulags. So,
literally.
Yeah, this is much of leftism today in the Western world. Their ideology is warped beyond recognition, locked in a downward purity spiral, condemned to irrelevance and ineffectiveness. A bucket of bitter, angry, and mentally unwell crabs. Thoroughly compromised by Russian propaganda and poisoned by an aimless,
If you don't want to die, so burn to death in nuclear hellfire, you don't support the Ukrainian people's right to self-determination. I'm frankly excited about nuclear winter. Please don't call me a tanky. Okay. Another weird little guy there.
Axiomatic hatred for America. Now don't get me wrong, right now hating America in its current form is the most patriotic thing anyone can do. Fuck America. But there is a difference to this and axiomatic hatred.
Don't bring up some Macho Man Randy Savage, that's outrageous. No. I will not have the great name of the late great Macho Man Randy Savage dragged through the dirt like this, okay? Just because he's dressed like a penis, he was also a very fine wrestler, so... And it was part of my childhood. And if you go against my childhood, I'll start screaming, "Fucking pronouns!" or something like that, so... What, you were literally in the middle of the video all along? Yeah. Sister Rose, you're not new here. That's what I like to call becoming distracted and doing a complete side tangent. That is... He was Kev's real dad. No.
Compare hating a woman because she did something horrible versus hating her because you're a bitter incel. The first kind of hatred is focused. It is a result of her actions, and ideally you want her to fess up and make things right so you can stop hating her. The incel's hatred is axiomatic. The horrible thing the woman did is just...
No, 255. It's not just that he dresses like him. Caleb Moppin is a fascist Mark Corrigan from Peep Show. Yeah, 100%. He dresses like him, he talks like him, he acts like him. It's just he's a pretend Marxist who's actually just a fascist. But other than that, he's writing a book called The Business Secrets of the Pharaohs, I'm sure.
Just another justification for the incel's irrational hatred for her. There is nothing she can do to change the incel's mind. The incel's hatred is not rational or productive. It doesn't lead anywhere, except for giving him a fake sense of superiority as he continues to wallow in his own misery. Hating America as an axiom, also known as American diabolism, is not good enough, especially if you refuse to extend the same criticism towards Russia, China, or even North Korea. This is why, for example, when discussing atrocities committed by the Chinese government, commentators like Hassan Abi, who are normally so eager to rag on the US, suddenly talk like Xi Jinping is standing right behind them with a gun to their heads.
How do we feel about Taiwan, Hassan? China or not
Taiwan?
China? Or is it China or not China?
That's the American policy. Whatever the American policy is, whatever the American perspective is.
What's your opinion? You really won't say?
No, I'm saying.
Oh, do you remember when they used to be friends? Oh.
It's like one country, two systems. You know.
And then he turned into a weird little guy, making weird videos from his basement.
No, it's not. It's two different countries.
Really?
Taiwan and China.
Is that according to American foreign policy?
That's really dumb because he's talking about Hong Kong. That's. Oh, Hassan.
What's your opinion? What's your opinion? Taiwan independent?
My opinion on Taiwan is that Taiwan is the Chinese concept of Taiwan should remain in the hands of the people in Taiwan who
therefore it's independent.
Who, for the record, for the most part, just believe to not disrupt the ongoing relations with.
Why are you being so carefully footed around?
Because I know that there's going to be a subreddit.
You cannot build anything productive on American diabolism. Insular social clubs? Yes. Political movements? No. But in order to build a lasting, effective opposition to the wave of new authoritarianism emanating from the White House, we need a political movement that addresses issues on a systemic level, that is friendly, agreeable, and at the everyday person's eye level. So less, educate yourself normie, go read theory, and more, you're right, things are getting worse for the bottom 90%. Here, take a look at these cool ideas for fixing that. There is plenty.
The educate yourself people are amazing. Like, surely if leftism, you want the opportunity to talk to people. Surely you want the opportunity to try and explain the things you believe to people who don't already believe them. And they give you the opportunity and you just go, oh, fucking educate yourself. No, just tell them. Look, I'm not saying, by the way, you have to do that. You know, emotional labour, etc. Of course, you don't have to do any of it. But if you actually believe in wanting to be a change maker in the world and all of that, why would you give up the opportunity to try and educate someone and just go educate yourself? Because you know what they'll do? They'll go on TikTok. They'll go on TikTok, or they'll go on YouTube, or they'll go on X, the everything app. They'll go on Twitter. And they'll be led down the fucking pipeline to fascism. That's where they'll go, because that's the information they'll be given. So well done, you turned a potential ally, someone who might have opened themselves up to a more progressive way of thinking, and led them down, ushered them down the start of the pipeline. Yeah, exactly. Have you seen what they'll find on Google? The algorithm leads people to fascism. That's where it goes, because that's what fascism doesn't threaten capital. Fascism is very much capital's backstop, to use the very modern phrase, the very Starmerite phrase. Fascism is capital's security guarantee. So it's happy to funnel people in that direction, because capital doesn't lose. And sort of, I think we're supposed to try and make capital lose. So maybe don't do it. Maybe don't do the educate yourself. Yeah.
plenty of political capital out there a leftist movement could build on. Our current state is the natural territory.
Well, Maria, fascism doesn't. When fascism collapses, capital doesn't collapse. You'll notice when every time a fascist government collapses, those same companies that existed before are fine. They come out of it very well. They've stored all their eggs nice and safe away. You'll notice, for instance, from Nazi Germany, they didn't even bother changing the name of the companies or anything like that. Krupp is still there. Volkswagen was literally started by the Nazis, of course. IG Farben is still there. Porsche is still there. All of these companies, these massive companies, were all still there. They all used slave labour. They all did all of the awful, terrible, evil shit. Still there. Still there, making billions to this day. Fascism may threaten the functionality, short term, of a society, because it'll collapse eventually. It has to. But ultimately, it will have... For capital, it's sort of like the controlled burning of a brush fire. Fascism kills trade unionists, it kills communists, it kills socialists, it even kills vaguely decently minded religious people and liberals. And so for capital's purposes, fascism clears that brush out of the way for them. Rather than having an actual fire of some sort of socialist uprising that they couldn't control, fascism removes that, as far as they're concerned, detritus. That's what they consider me and you to be. It moves that shit out of the way for them to continue. So even though they might lose a small amount of productive capability when the society collapses, overall they'll earn a lot more. And the socialists aren't there to threaten them anymore, because they've all been fucking killed. Capitalists love fascism. They always have and they always will. It's not their go-to system. What they really love is the neoliberal hellscape we currently have. Because you've got a peaceable, complacent working class, a completely neutered labour movement, peaceful society, mostly speaking, and absolute rule of the oligarchs. It's the perfect situation. But if it came down to it, they'll go to fascism again. They're more than happy to do it. Look what they've been doing in South America for the last fucking 60 years. They're more than happy to do fascism when they need to. Again, it's their backstop. It's their port of last call. Admittedly, they don't want to have to do it. It is inconvenient for them. It does make them look bad in the long run. But they're more than happy to do it in order to stop any actual socialist development.
Of the political left. But where are they? In their insular social clubs, busy excising people for thinking the Holodomor was real. Such gatekeepers obsessed with ideological purity are the death of any political movement. They are neuter, ineffectual, inert, useless, because they are not interested in building a political movement. They want tiny, exclusive social clubs where they get to feel smart and special. They are the chosen ones who took the red pill and rose above the ocean of clueless normies. They have figured out the perfect form of government.
Okay, I didn't pre-watch this, the studying the blade bit. It's just because Caleb Moppin is a freak. Sorry, not freak. Weird little guy.
They are on top of the world intellectually, and they don't want anyone else in there who isn't as ideologically pure as they are. They don't want their ideas to become widespread and popular, because then leftism would be mainstream, and they would no longer feel special for subscribing to it. So what should a good leftist movement look like? Bernie Sanders. Period. No purity testing, no gatekeeping, no being pro-China or pro-Russia, no American diabolism. Also, please drop the lefty academic terms. They just make all of you sound like a bunch of weirdos. Compare and contrast. The price of eggs went up. Those corporations is just a bunch of snake oil thieves, I tell you what. Ugh, Aunt Mary. See, that's why the workers must seize the means of production to stop the extraction of the value of their labor by the bourgeoisie. Aunt Mary, that's exactly right. Now how about we fix this with some good old super capitalism? It's like normal capitalism, but instead of filling boardrooms with those lazy, latte drinking, good for nothing suits, you put the workers in there. Imagine not having your idiot boss at your job. I just think you and your colleagues are smart enough to run that ship on your own and do it better even. Right, okay, you get the idea. As far as I can see,
Yeah, leave academic language to academia.
democracy is in a death spiral right now. Corporatism and authoritarianism are converging, and centrists just don't have an answer to this. The left does. A type of popular, accessible, agreeable, relatable left that seeks to include instead of gatekeeping, that draws you in instead of blowing you off, that is more than happy to explain their policies in everyday terms instead of telling you to read century-old theory they themselves haven't read, and one that does not have bizarre sympathies for fascist dictatorships like Russia or China. So basically, Bernie Sanders. But in every Western country. This is what we need, in my opinion, to effectively oppose the Trump administration and its allies across the globe.
I can see what he means there, and I think there's certainly a truth to it. And by the way, I'm done now, but whatever. Hang on, hang on a minute. That's not. I don't need that. That's not what I meant to do at all. Go away. Yeah, Bumbleclart. There we go. Yes, I think he's basically correct there. What you need in order to, if you're going to do electoralism, or if you're going to do elections, and this is actually a point I kind of had not an argument with, I guess, but like a discussion with No Justice a couple of weeks ago about, is the idea that if you're going to be in a democracy, if you're going to do democracy in its liberal form. And you want to do a kind of socialism, I think you need to do that kind of Bernie Sanders-esque populism type thing, right? It's not ideal in the long run. It's not like what we would want as the end goal. It's a good stepping stone and would just be way fucking better. Just way better than the thing we currently have. Like, just... even if it doesn't lead to socialism, which is very possible it won't. The capitalist system and its liberal democratic outcrops aren't meant to be there to allow socialism to reign. So it's very possible you're not going to be able to get socialism via the ballot box in the traditional liberal democratic sense. But even just having a Bernie Sanders type social democratic system is better than the fucking evil shit we currently have. And if our whole point is about trying to improve the lot of the working class, surely that's the area we should be putting some of our effort into. And I agree that we need to be making, what do they call it, dual structures of power. So that you create essentially a state within a state, so that you can then do socialism and have like the structures in place to be able to take over, ideally. Because you can't, like, it's like with the argument of prison abolition, is that people say, people who are like prison abolitionists will say, well, in the end goal society or whatever that we want to create, we wouldn't need X, Y, and Z. Okay, but when you first come to power, you're not going to have that. You're not going to have that actual structure in place unless you build it. If you don't build those things first, when you then take over, you're not going to be able to implement that thing straight away. So essentially, you're just going to end up sort of reifying the same structures that you were hoping to overthrow, at least in the short to medium term, But anyway, like I don't get too far into the theory of it. A, because I don't necessarily understand it that well myself. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. And B, I don't think people watch my shit for that, do they? I mean, I'm not entirely sure why anyone does watch my shit. Yeah. Is Kev working class? Does Kev own the means of slot production? I mean, technically, I don't own the means of slot production. I own... it's Jeff Bezos owns the means of this production. I just do my bit. Marinaka, I got you a digital copy of our show. Oh, fucking awesome. Thank you, Marinaka. Send it to me on the Discord or something. Or on Blue Sky, on Twitter, wherever. Wherever you happen to know me. Yes, thank you, 255. It's too late for such an in-depth meme. We've moved on, but I appreciate it. Put it in the memes bit on the Discord. And nothing. Basically. Okay, who's going on Twitch? No, not Twitch. YouTube. Subscription added. What? I don't know. Anyway, what am I doing? Oh, I'm on the wrong fucking thing, that's why. Sorry, everyone. It's a small technical matter. I've been viewing my YouTube page through my alternate account page. So when I tried to edit the video, it wouldn't fucking let me, because I'm a cunt. Crazy days. Honestly, one day I will be good at this. I promise. And you know, when I make a promise, I definitely won't keep it because I am a feckless bastard. Right, customization. Let's go. Added. Who's going? No Justice is going, so I'm sending you over there. And that takes care of who I'm sending you over to on Twitch then, I guess. Yeah. I had DM'd it you already on Discord. Thank you, Marinaka. I will check my Discord and stuff later. Everyone go and say hello to No Justice, who's watching something. I don't know what they're watching, but anyway. And you are already raiding to No Justice, MTJ. Am I? Okay. I don't know why it's done that. Anyway, thank you all for listening and watching. Free Palestine. No, pass it around.